The finalists for the NFL MVP award has been released. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, and Brock Purdy all make the list. All the NFL awards will be handed out on February 8th. Well, Jim Harbaugh went to the Chargers last night. Today, the Carolina Panthers, they hired Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator Dave Canales. He is their new head coach.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Happy Thursday.
It is a happy Thursday. Not raining.
That's nice.
Car wash line was too long to jump in.
I jumped in.
Did you really?
Yeah, just a little quickie.
Isn't that normal?
Well, it depends how much I've had to drink.
I'm talking car washes.
Okay. Well, I don't drink going to the car wash. I don't know what you were talking about.
I mean, generally you like them to be quick because if it's going to take too long, you got other things you need to do, right? Certain things you want to take your time with. An hour at the car wash place isn't one of them.
Well, an hour for any of us is a dream. At the car wash, yeah, that's way too long. Anything else, forget about it. That's like a wishing on a genie.
Your attention span doesn't last an hour?
Well, and nothing else either.
Your poor wife.
Oh, my goodness.
Not sure where to go with that.
That got started quick, didn't it?
Ended quick, too.
It sure did.
Like normal.
Hello.
Here we go.
Hello.
It's a Thursday. Let's go.
Oh, my goodness. Lots to talk about today, for sure.
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell Carlos does at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Carlos on our YouTube channel says, got my whiskey, got my girls next to, got the best radio show on in SA. What else do I need?
I want to know about the whiskey and the girls. Now, are these big girls or little girls?
You mean older?
Well, I'm thinking, are they girls that
like
Carlos
babies?
or daughters?
Okay, I'm with you. Well, clearly, because the way that dude constructed that sentence, he's had a couple of whiskeys already.
So they must.
Not that I want to sound like your 8th grade English teacher, but that sentence makes no damn sense.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Well,
half the things we say makes no damn sense.
Well, this is true. And the other half come from my mouth.
Yeah, whatever. And then you woke up this morning.
I did. Thank God. Do that every morning I wake up.
Uh-huh.
Wait, I'm not at that age yet. My dad used to say that.
What's that?
He would wake up every morning, read the obituaries. If he didn't see his name, he'd go take a shower and get ready for the day.
I could just see where that would happen.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Carlos says definitely older.
Definitely older. Okay, good.
Now you're jealous because he's got girls like more than one, plural.
Look, I've tried that.
Bragger.
I obviously can't handle that.
Bragger.
And, used to get me in a lot of trouble in my younger days. So enjoy that, Carlos. Responsibly.
Yeah, sure.
Or however you want to.
Yeah, it's kind of like the other day. I mean, we have no idea what people are doing while listening to this show. Now, I realize in some places we're background noise. Other people are listening intently to everything we say, so they
taking notes.
They can hammer us for it. Yeah. Other things are happening, and certain things I don't need to know about.
No, but I don't mind whiskey and girls. That's good for Carlos.
No, and the more whiskey you drink, the better we sound.
Well, the better they look, probably too.
This is true.
Yeah.
Although they're listening right now.
Oh, I'm sure you ladies are beautiful.
Couple whiskeys in.
Yes.
Well, we're off to a hell of a start, aren't we?
Have fun, Carlos. Well, it's one of those days. I am a little bit giddy because the weather's nice. Giddy. And so you get out and it's not raining like hell, which depresses you. And it's the sun's out. That's nice. And it's a beautiful day. So yeah, be nice if we had a little window we could look outside.
Oh, stop with the window.
I'm just saying.
I mean, do you think if you bring up the fact that we don't have a window every day, that they will move our studio down the hall that does have a window, not to the outside world, but to a courtyard, but you can see sky.
Yes.
And there's an empty studio in our building that we were told we were going to move into
2 years ago.
2 years ago. It's actually been longer than 2 years.
Yes.
But because you started a little over 2 years ago.
Yes.
And even during the interview process, we're going to build this studio out and redo it, and that's going to be where you guys are going to go.
The first place Rob Thompson took me.
When you took the tour of the building. Yeah. I mean, I've been hearing that for a long time.
So I'm just throwing it out there. It'd be nice.
So are you making it your mission to just bring it up every damn day until the boss gets tired of hearing it and says, all right, we'll get it set up?
I didn't think about it that way, but now that you bring it up, yeah.
The squeaky wheel?
Sure.
I mean, it I don't want to say it tends to work, but it does remind the bosses that was the plan. Now, I understand the reasons we haven't moved in there
because
yet.
We need an engineer.
There's a lot of things that would have to take place and the capital expense that it would require. See, everything that you see here in our studio right now, and I know for those of you listening or if you're watching on YouTube, that doesn't mean squat to you. Although if you're watching on YouTube, see this lovely carpet on the wall behind me? That was brand new 16 years ago when we moved into this place. Well, and it hasn't changed, and it's barely been vacuumed. That's why, every day about 30 minutes into the show, I kind of sneeze and cough a little bit. So does Joe. It's because the crap allergies in here. I don't know why, but it tends to happen. But everything in here is it's old.
I grew up in a house that had in the 70s that had carpet about like that. You sure it was brand new 16 years ago?
It was new to us.
It was new to you.
I mean, brand new? I don't know. Repurposed, but it was new to us.
I don't think it was new.
It was new to us that long ago.
It's wonderful. The studio is fantastic.
That board over there that Pledge is flying, it looks like, he's running NASA on that side. Have we ever replaced that, Pledge? Because you've been here, 10, 12 years?
Going on year 13.
Year 13. So it took me 3 years to get you a job here?
3, 4.
3. Well, I've been 16, so 3.
Well, August will be like 13.
All right. Well, give or take. But I don't think we've replaced that.
No, this has been the same since I got here.
So if we were to move,
we'd have to replace that
with all new stuff.
Oh,
that's the expensive side.
All right. Well, then here it is. Maybe somebody could draw me a picture that looks like a window with the sun shining in there with some nice trees and flowers, and we could put it up on the wall there, and I could just look at that. Say, man, it is a beautiful day in San Antonio, Texas.
Well, why don't you call your buddy Bill Taylor and say, can I get a live feed connection to the weather cam on the top of the building? Because even if they move our studios, you're not going to have a view that shows you trees and flowers. You're going to have a view of a courtyard and generally nothing in the courtyard unless we get a random fox stuck in the building or you get a sales guy that's on the phone outside sitting at one of the tables.
I don't really want to see that.
Well, that's all your options, and then the other part of that is, although the way the angle is, maybe not, but you would have a view of the break room, depending on how they would configure where we're sitting in the studio. So then you would see all the fun stuff happening in the break room, like when there's a birthday cake celebration at 4:00 in the afternoon that we can't go to because we're on the air. So maybe there's some management mental gymnastics going on that says, we don't want Joe to feel left out. He won't get cake. So don't put him by a window where he could see people having cake.
That's very thoughtful of them, by the way.
Isn't it?
It's very thoughtful. So I'm just throwing this out there
Here
to
we
all of you that have kids, and maybe I'll talk to, my daughters and the grandkids, and I need a nice picture. Somebody draw me, and I'll give you a shout out every day. I'll say, there's the picture that little Annie drew. Thank you.
You know, you might be onto something here.
See that?
You might be onto
Yeah.
something here. Now, I know this isn't your original idea.
No, it really is.
It really isn't, because, you know, all the weather guys do this all the time, where they have kids draw pictures, send them in, and they put them on the news. Right. So have your kids draw a picture of the outside world for Joe, and instead of sending it to the guy in prison, you tweet it at Joe Reinagle 210, so he'll get his pictures. It's the same philosophy.
Well, it is, but it's just for my sanity. So I can see that up there, and it's like I'm that in a box for 4 hours, and it looks like the outside world.
Okay.
So if anybody's nice enough, you're listening, driving around San Antonio or watching on YouTube or however you're listening, thank you for doing that. But if you've got somebody, maybe a youngster who could draw a picture of nice window with a sun shining and some trees and flowers, that would be much appreciated.
Now, Joe, if you put it over there, I'll never see it. What
Exactly. I don't care about
what
you.
about me?
Well, if they want to make two, then that's fine. You get to look at the Sports Illustrated over here.
Yeah, it's we've got a framed copy of a Sports Illustrated, R.I.P. SI,
Yes.
of the Spurs dynasty. It's autographed by Manu. Who else autographed that? Tony and Tim?
Okay.
Is that who signed it?
Well, it's a bunch of scribbles, so I don't know.
Well, I can see Tony Parker because of the 9.
Hold on.
You're going to take it off the wall and see?
I am. I'm going to take it off the wall. And I got Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and that's not Tim Duncan. That looks like...
Is it Fabricio? Hold it up to the camera so the people on YouTube can see.
All right, here it is. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this. If you're driving around, it is a framed picture of a Sports Illustrated cover of when the Spurs were good.
The good old days.
Yeah, when they were really
Champions.
good. They were championship basketball team.
Not losing by 26.
Manu Ginobili, Bruce Bowen, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and Fabricio Oberto. So that could be Fab's signature. It looks like.
So Timmy didn't sign that?
I don't think that's Timmy. No. I'm wondering if that's Bruce Bowen.
Let me see.
That might be. You want to look at it?
Let me see.
Yeah, that was back in the days when we said the Spurs won last night by 26, and they didn't get beat by 26.
Yeah, it's Fabricio Oberto.
Okay.
He signed that.
Well, there you go.
Tony Parker, Manu, Bruce Bowen did. Timmy signed it too. Are you blind?
No.
Dude, you got your eyes fixed.
There's only 3 signatures.
Dude, there's
there.
5 signatures
Let me
on
see
there.
the thing,
There are 5. They
No,
were
there's not.
How much do you want? You want a beer bet?
No, I don't.
Beer bet?
No.
Beer bet. I hear a beer bet. Do you hear a beer bet?
It's time for another beer bet with the Blitz.
All right.
Jason and Joe go head-to-head with the biggest bet of the weekend.
Uh-huh.
Here's the Blitz.
Yeah, thank you. Big voice guy with too many words.
Yeah.
If you look at this.
I'm looking.
You don't see the signatures?
We need you to talk into your microphone.
Well.
Yeah, there
right.
you go.
Is that better?
Yes.
See, right here. It's Manu.
Oh, up on top. I
Right.
wasn't looking on top.
Bruce Bowen, right there. Tim Duncan signed it right there. Tony Parker, Fabricio. They all signed it, not at the same time because of the different pens that we're using. So somebody had this.
You can tell differences in pens?
Well, I realize you're not the smartest guy, but seeing as how 3 of the signatures are in black Sharpie that have basically the same level of thickness on the ink, it was probably done at one setting. And the other 2 are done in blue Sharpie. That's the first clue that it wasn't the same pen.
Well,
and probably
are you
got
sure
signed.
that that's blue?
Clearly, man. Yes. Yes. They're, you know, which is making me concerned for you because you flat out did not see the blue on there.
I didn't see the blue.
Do you see it now?
I see it now.
Beer
Yes.
bet 1. Woo!
Okay, whatever, dude. So I see that. Okay, now I see. I wasn't looking up there.
Yeah.
That's a nice picture.
It's a great picture of the good old days.
Yeah, picture day with Joe.
Uh-huh.
That's a 6-pack, by the way.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Seriously, that was number 6 win for Jason.
Boom. Yeah.
Put it on a team.
So you guys you guys just make up beer bets. Let's see. Oh, it's 215.49. No, it's not. Let's have a beer bet.
Well, if you're,
come on.
If
That's
you're
as stupid as hell.
Well, it is.
But, let's have a beer bet.
Like I'm sitting there looking at it, and you're telling me that I'm wrong. I'll bet you, and you'll take the bet.
Nobody took a bet.
I think you did.
Nobody took a bet. Roll it back, Pledge. You've got it there.
Dude, you look like one of those commercials. We're going to go check the replay.
We are.
Exactly.
And you would be
That's
wrong.
what we're going to do. Except for you are the one that's wrong.
Uh-huh.
Timmy did sign that thing.
He did.
Thank you, Tim.
Didn't see the blue. Kind of blended into the woodwork.
The NFL coaching carousel. Big domino fell last night.
Uh-huh.
Another one this morning in a surprise move. So we got a couple of jobs open. We'll speculate on what it all means as we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
First, though, the weather is nice, right? It is nice. We've established that, but man, we've had some rainstorms, even some hail. I've seen people posting pictures of hail. So if you think your roof suffered some damage in those hailstorms, now is the perfect time to get it checked out. And you don't want to leave it until the weather gets bad again. You want to call my friends at Stevens Roofing, because really there's only that one name in roofing that stands high above the rest. That is Stevens Roofing. A quality roof overhead by Stevens Roofing means comfort. It means confidence. It means peace of mind, protection for all the things that you love. When you're in the market for repairs, a replacement roof, an upgrade, you'll want to work with an experienced team that brings local roots, value, and a vast knowledge to every job. That is Stevens Roofing, providing roofing in both commercial and residential. A wide variety of materials for all of South Texas. Call Stevens Roofing. 210-785-0994. You can get them online at stevensroofing.net, but give them a call. Get that roof checked out. That phone number again is 210-785-0994.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
So, does anyone else's family and home need a little winter pick-me-up? If so, you've got to go to Kohl's right now. I just saved big during their winter event. I got storage bins for just $15.99 that are so needed around the house. Then I got my kids new winter coats for 50% off and my husband some stylish boots for $29.99. Plus, because I earned Kohl's Cash on it all, I can't wait to treat myself next time. Thank you, Kohl's. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offers valid through January 28th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
I love San Antonio, man. I love it.
On 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Ryan Engel. I'm Jason Menace. Glad to have you along on this Thursday afternoon. Listening on the radio, maybe you're listening online at sasportstar.com. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the thumbs up button if you're there watching the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Dave Canales, he got hired as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Talking about a guy coming out of the clear blue sky. Nobody, I mean, he wasn't even, I don't remember hearing his name for anything.
Well, they were interviewing so many people, right? Although I think quietly a nice hire by Dave Tepper. You look at what he did with Geno Smith, what he's done with Baker Mayfield. Now you go work with a Bryce Young. There might have been bigger names, more popular names. And I think we get caught up sometimes in the coordinators that we know and we hear about a lot, you know, like a Ben Johnson, he's going to be the next one. He's going to be the next one. But you look at the track record with the work with quarterbacks and, you know, I feel bad for the guy. You got to go work for Dave Tepper, but you're a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah. And if you turn that thing around, which it will take some time to do that because they're handcuffed in a lot of ways. But if you can turn that thing around, if you can develop Bryce Young into the quarterback that everybody thinks he can be, then you're going to be a hero there. The question is Tepper going to give him enough time? I mean, is Tepper going to be patient with this guy and give him 2-3 years to try and turn this program around?
You know what I find interesting is something that I heard Rob Thompson say this morning, that RJ Ochoa quickly said, no, this is not right. But I do think Rob was onto something with how bad things are in Carolina. Would it have been a smarter play for Carolina to go with a defensive-minded head coach, fix the defense, because that defense was so bad, get one of these up-and-coming quarterback coach, offensive coordinator gurus to work with Bryce? But if they don't fix the defense first, it doesn't matter because Bryce is going to be down 14-21 right away and throwing it 8,000 times, where are you really giving him a chance to develop if you don't work on the defense first? And I thought, you know, it's an interesting way to look at it, Rob, because when he was first saying it, I was like, well, no, but I think Rob, after he was kind of going through it, he might be right. You got to fix the defense first because the offense will get better. But if the defense isn't, are you actually making any progress?
Well, the first thing you got to fix there's the offensive line. I mean, you without getting Bryce Young killed. I think that's what you need to work on first. I get where he's coming from, but this guy has a record of working with quarterbacks, and now it's up to him to hire a guy that is going to be in charge of that defense and get it shored up. But I think look, you drafted this kid number 1. You want to see if you can make a go of him. So I think you've got to get somebody in there that can work with him, can try and get him on the right track. But you got to fix that offensive line. You don't fix that thing. I mean, I don't care how good a quarterback you are. If you're running for your life every play, you're not going to be very good.
Yeah, true. And I mean, they got a lot of things to fix there.
Yes.
And you have to work on the offensive line. But I do think Rob was onto something. Fix the defense and because the offense will get better. It's boring to pick offensive linemen in the first round. But at the same time, that will get better. But a surprise hire and maybe some of the bigger name people want nothing to do with working for a guy like Dave Tepper.
Of course not.
So when you look at it as we sit right now, obviously with Harbaugh taking the Chargers job yesterday and Canales now with the Panthers, Ryan Callahan with the Titans, Seahawks, Commanders, Falcons are still open. Bobby Slowik from the Texans, apparently over at Arthur Blank's house today, or Arthur Blank. He's at the house today for an in-person. I guess Bill Belichick not getting that job. Maybe it goes to Bobby Slowik.
That's I know Slowik had a good year, but boy, that's a gamble. That's a gamble. I mean, that's Slowik. What is he? 15? I mean, this guy's young, and he did a great job with the offense with C.J. Stroud, and maybe just some fresh ideas in Atlanta will be good. But man, that just seems like a big roll of the dice, if indeed that's the way it goes. And I'm not a huge fan of hiring Bill Belichick just to hire Bill Belichick, but to me, that is a huge roll of the dice.
Well, depending on how the meetings are going, you think about the idea of Bill Belichick and his football knowledge and everything that he does, culture, all of that. But he also wants control. Over at the house today at Arthur's place, he's got the GM there, got the CEO, got all these other people, and he got Bobby, who's he's probably just making sure he's sitting right on the expensive chair, where Bill Belichick is going to want to come in and take complete control of everything. And in Atlanta, are those people willing to give up all of that control to Bill Belichick? And because it seems kind of odd, you're saying, do you want Bill Belichick or Bobby Slowik? But if you just want a coach, you go Bobby Slowik. If you want somebody to come in and take all the control that he's used to having, then Bill Belichick. Either way, you look at, we're down to 3 open jobs, right? Seattle, maybe it's still Dan Quinn, who's interviewing at a couple other places, but maybe you still got Vrabel available. And, if Slowik ends up in Atlanta, who's getting a Washington job? Certainly seems like they're waiting for Ben Johnson. But so is a Vrabel, is a Bill Belichick? Are they both going to be left out of this hiring cycle?
Well, I would be shocked if Vrabel is, to be honest with you. I think he's a hot name. And I think look, Belichick, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. To bring Bill Belichick into a team that is trying to get there without a quarterback. I mean, you got Desmond Ridder, but we don't know if he's going to be anything or not. But to bring him into that thing, I'm not sure Belichick's got the stones anymore. Honestly, I think he's kind of washed. I'll be honest with you. He's a big name. He's huge, but Tom Brady left, and Bill Belichick made some really dumb moves and didn't do anything.
True. And,
so I'm not sure he's the guy.
Belichick without Brady and Pop without Duncan.
Yes.
You start to wonder, right?
You do.
But at the same time, it is interesting to say the least on Belichick could certainly come in and change your culture right away. At his age, he's not a 10-year coach. Then again, most coaches don't last 10 years anyway. But if you want a complete culture change, I think Belichick could be the guy that could come in and certainly do that. Now, Ian Rappaport is reporting that the Commanders are expected to have their second in-person interview with Dan Quinn early next week. Dan is currently meeting with the Seahawks for his second interview.
Well, is Seattle going to let him get out of the building? That will be Dan Quinn. Because you got to figure if Washington is all in on Ben Johnson and they're waiting, then you got to figure that Seattle job comes down to Vrabel and Dan Quinn, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Now I'm mad at Dan today, but I've been a fan of Dan for his time in Dallas. So I'm making an emotional statement with what I saw down the stretch, not just the Green Bay game. I hope Dan gets the job in Seattle because would that open the door to potentially go get Vrabel to be the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys.
And a coach in waiting.
After
they say adios to McCarthy. I think that makes perfect sense. And it would be, if Jerry could pull that off, I think it would be outstanding. Because Vrabel is a good defensive coach. He could come in there with already the pieces to work with.
Head coach of the defense?
Sure. And then the coach,
head coaches.
And then the coach in waiting. You know, due to McCarthy, what I've been calling for them to do to Dak Prescott for years.
Here we go.
Have a guy backing him up. He's a threat to your job. Or they could just go out and hire, I don't know, me. Be the same thing as having Cooper Rush. No threat.
I don't know. Cooper Rush proved to be a game-ready backup.
Sure.
I don't know that you're game ready.
He's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Dude, I could be a Band-Aid.
Never for that kind of money?
Sure.
And be whatever you want me to be for that kind of money.
I could be a Band-Aid.
Yeah, you could be. The San Antonio Spurs lost last night.
Only by 26.
Is that even shouting distance?
No. No.
We'll talk about it coming up at 3:15 with Sean Elliott here on the Blitz. But last night, I got to admit, I was getting madder and madder and madder watching the Spurs getting their ass kicked by the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll dive into that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. I know it's a nice day today. Rodeo's coming, more cold weather on the way. If you need your logo on any kind of winter gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. You need that logo on a jacket, a half zip, a coat, a hoodie, a beanie. Sam will get you taken care of. He's got everything on display right now in that massive showroom down on San Pedro, including caps. Man, you walk in there and, you know, they got more caps than a hat store. I mean, 25,000 caps on display in that showroom and more than 75 color combinations, all waiting for your logo. Even has the popular Richardson 112 style chucker caps in stock. Sammy has all the big name brands like North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from all kinds of industries. Nobody has better prices, and Sam is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big. You need one, you need 10, you need 2 dozen, you need 40,000. Sam will get you taken care of. 210-824-3900. 824-3900. Or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. Or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
It's R&R in the morning.
On R&R in the morning, we'll look at the Spurs. The Trailblazers are in town. Can they get off this night and win a home game finally? And we're going to look real close at that guy named Scoot Henderson. Remember the one might have drafted if we didn't get Wemby? That turned out so well for him.
2 Super Bowl tickets will be punched on Sunday. The Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, Niners, all looking to meet up with us in Las Vegas. Who will it be? We have thoughts. Join us at 6 a.m. Bring the coffee and the snacks.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knee, shoulder. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue, and QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The future of pain treatments has arrived, and QC Kinetics has tens and thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get you your life back. And best of all, it's non-surgical. If this is your year to decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now and call QC Kinetics to get a free consultation on the calendar today. Call 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust, like Whirlpool, Samsung, and LG, in-store or online at the best values. Plus, take advantage of our everyday financing offers on top items, from refrigerators to laundry pairs. And there's more. Get your new appliances delivered or installed quickly at your convenience. Because Lowe's knows appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Subject to credit approval.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all, the collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the Ping G430 Max 10K driver. Straighter flies farther with Ping's most forgiving driver ever made, the Max 10K. Come in today and test drive Ping's newest driver at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Visit us at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minnick. I don't know what to make of what I saw from the Spurs last night. Do you? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. I was expecting a loss, but we have seen the Spurs play more competitive basketball lately, and they didn't do that last night. Last night, I saw the San Antonio Spurs playing a lot of dumb basketball, and I was angry. I shouldn't be angry at an 8-win team, but I was cussing at my TV last night more often than not because of the dumb basketball I was seeing.
Well, what I will never understand is why this team comes out after halftime and acts like they're just going through the motions. And again, that was last night. It's like they didn't even want to be there. And starting the fourth quarter, I heard Sean Elliott say, this team just really didn't have a lot of fire in that third quarter. That's putting it mildly and politely.
Well, it is. And I kind of, to pat myself on the back,
I think it's Trey Jones. They look like they had fixed their third quarter issues when they moved Trey Jones into the starting point guard position. The fact that they are out there without a real floor general, if you will, somebody that can initiate the offense and pass the basketball. I think we all agree the Sohan experiment lasted, 25 games too long. Once they went to Trey Jones at point guard, who does have a high basketball IQ, they were playing better basketball. And with him out with the ankle injury, I think, you could start there. I have no idea what they're doing at halftime, but the third quarter issues were back. And just the selfishness. And I don't know if it's a combination of both, but last night watching Devin Vassell try to take a step back jump shot over Chet Holmgren while Wemby was under the basket with a guy 3 feet smaller than him guarding him. The fact that Devin Vassell did not recognize the mismatch and pass the damn ball is beside me. The fact that you watch Keldon Johnson not try to play defense. Chet Holmgren blows by him like he's a point guard.
Did anybody play defense last night?
No,
there was no defense
no,
played.
but it's just the
there were more easy layups in that game. It was just incredible. It was like a game of pickup. There was no defense played by the San Antonio Spurs last night.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
I mean, easy bucket after easy bucket after easy bucket. It just look, I mean, we're not talking about we're still in November or December. I mean, we're damn near through January. And it's just not getting any better. It's not.
Well, I mean, you talk about not getting any better. And maybe I'm giving Trey Jones too much credit. I don't think I am, but I think having Trey Jones at point guard, they were playing better basketball. There was more of a rhythm. And I think, he's one that makes good decisions. Most of the time, the right decision with the basketball and starting the offense. And I think you get into a flow that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that for that short stretch of time. You were seeing that. Makes me wonder if, 5 games in, 8 games in, if Pop makes the change from Jeremy to Trey Jones, do we win 10 more games at this point? You think about, I think about all the games where they had leads and they blew them in the fourth quarter. Maybe with a real point guard, you end up winning some of those games because, not that they've won a lot with Trey because they got 8 total wins on the year, but at least it felt more like a real basketball game with a plan. And without him last night because of the sprained ankle, it just went right back to what we were watching early on. And I think that's what was so angry is where I thought we were seeing progress. Clearly we weren't, but it certainly makes me miss, of all people, Trey Jones that much more. Watching this Spurs basketball team play, Wemby is the smartest guy on the court basketball-wise, and he's 20. And I think your second smartest guy on this roster is Trey Jones, who was not available last night because of an ankle.
So, I don't even know what to say because you watch the game and I guess maybe I'm one of those spoiled people.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing is that Victor Wembanyama's rookie year to me now, if he's learning some things that we're going to see later on, maybe that's one thing. And that helps me ease my mind a little bit, but it just seems like such a waste. And the only thing that ESPN could come up with last night was the rivalry between Chet and Wemby. And there's not going to be a rivalry between those two because Wemby is going to pass this guy and look back in his rearview mirror at him. I'm not a big Chet Holmgren fan. I'll be honest with you. The guy's got some skills. He's tall, but he's the third best guy on that Oklahoma City team.
He really is. And it's rivalry week in the NBA, so they're building it up. And ESPN certainly was, although it was hard to watch the ESPN broadcast.
I didn't. I watched more of Bill and Sean.
I was going back
night.
and forth, but I always like to watch the national. I even watched some of the Oklahoma City broadcasts last night just to kind of see what they're saying.
How'd you do that?
when I went on the DirecTV stream and found the Spurs
wow.
Thunder game,
Okay.
it was
All right.
giving me Oklahoma's ballet.
Wow.
I don't know.
All right.
There's ways, Joe Reining.
I guess there are.
There are ways. And only ESPN was trying to make it a Chet Wemby matchup. Oklahoma City's coach in one of those fancy interviews that are worthless between quarters didn't want to play the Chet Wemby game.
All eyes on Chet Holmgren going against Wemby. Chet with 2 fewer points than the first time these two played each other. What worked for him in that first quarter?
It's Thunder versus Spurs tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
See, I've been watching that pop guy over there. That's how he does it. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Well, I'm sure you get tired of hearing that. And even the coach for the Thunder knows that Wemby's best player in the NBA, you would imagine, moving forward. Chet Holmgren, yeah, maybe he improves. That guy just, you watch Wemby play, and he's smooth, and he can do things. Holmgren's like a big lanky scarecrow out there, just kind of do. No, he is. He really is. And I mean, look, he's got some skills. I'm not totally disrespecting the guy.
You really are.
Well, but I mean, he's not. I mean, face it. If you had a choice between those two, who you taking?
Oh,
and not because you're a Spurs fan.
Wemby, and I think Wemby's the answer to that for everybody, and maybe even Oklahoma City, even though they have Chet. All I know is watching that game last night. Maybe I was a little jealous because
they're tall.
Well, that's all.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't. Where I was going there.
Pick a high school freshman B team, and they're all going to be taller than me. I'm not jealous of height. But what I was jealous of is the passing, the teammates that Chet Holmgren has.
Yeah.
And the idea, if Wemby had a teammate like SGA, if Wemby had somebody getting him the ball like a Josh Giddey, what would his numbers look like?
They'd be incredible. They'd be through the roof.
Right. And maybe one day we'll have that. All right. I mean, it just, when you think about how young our roster is, as they keep telling us, look at how young Oklahoma City's roster is, and they're in first place. That's a hell of a basketball team. And you know what? They're a fun basketball team to watch.
Okay. Well, I kind of get a clue, I think, of what's going on here. And I do this, and I don't think we have the sound, but it's okay. The post-game notes that we get from the Spurs after every game.
Okay.
And it talks about, what was said in the post-game press conference and all of that stuff. Greg Popovich, this is a quote. Sam Presti has been fantastic, but it takes a while to get there. They've had a lot of good picks over a good number of years to get where they are now, and it's starting to show benefits. So they're doing a great job. Their coach is doing a great job. They've stayed the course, been patient, added people every year, and now they have a chance to do something special. So that tells me that the San Antonio Spurs are on the Oklahoma City path to success.
Sure. Well, I don't think we needed that to know that.
Well, here's the problem, though, with that. Oklahoma City has done a good job of using those draft picks and drafting well. The Spurs have not. Now, will they in the future? Perhaps.
Well,
but that is still a crapshoot. Just because you have a ton of draft picks doesn't mean that those draft picks are going to be good players.
So, as I think back on Spurs drafting, 2018 was Lonnie Walker. Right? And then we had Luka, who's not with us anymore, the sandwich guy, and Keldon Johnson, right? In 2019, right? First round picks. And Keldon doesn't seem any better today than he was 5 years ago.
No.
Keldon's as good as he's ever going to get, right? Devin Vassell in 20. Josh Primo in 21. Jeremy Malachi and Blake Wesley, weren't they the three picks? And and Wemby. I'm starting to wonder about the Spurs drafting.
I'm not exactly seeing anything there that again, when they drafted Keldon Johnson, I thought, okay, man, this guy is going to be it. He hasn't been it. Devin Vassell, I think, is a guy that I'm not going to give up on him just yet. But you look at the rest of that list. You got Joe Wieskamp in there. I mean, it hasn't been good. So the point is, yeah, you can follow that Oklahoma City path, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be successful doing that.
You have to draft right. And, I'm my mistake as I was going through the picks. Pledge just pulled up there recent. I forgot Trey Jones was a second-round pick. I thought he was one of those. I was thinking one of those late first-round. He's a second-round guy.
Yeah.
And when you look outside of Wemby, obviously, Trey Jones might be the best player that the Spurs have drafted in the last 4 or 5 years. And I've been saying that anybody not named Victor or Devin Vassell is tradable. I think I have to or Trey Jones is tradable. I still want to keep Devin Vassell, but if somebody else wants him, But
is Trey Jones a guy you want to go to battle with as your starting point guard moving forward?
But I love how he runs the offense.
Sure.
And I think he would be a great backup point guard. And I think on any kind of championship caliber team, he's the kind of backup point guard that you need. And probably you look at the top of the standings, those teams might be coming to call for a guy like Trey Jones at the deadline. I don't know that I would give him up because I think he and Victor are the smartest guys on the team. I mean, when I see Devin Vassell trying to take a shot over Chet Holmgren with Wemby with the clear mismatch in the paint, I can't. I don't understand the logic there. That's dumb basketball.
It is incredibly dumb basketball. And we've heard rumors and stories from behind the scenes that there's a lot of egos there, right? A lot of the guys that want to be the star of this team, even though Wemby is here, and they just can't be the star of this team because it is Wemby's team, whether they like it or not. You either get on board or you go somewhere else. And I have a feeling a lot of these guys are going to go somewhere else. But again, maybe I'm old school, and I know that Spurs fans everywhere keep telling me that, we've got a stack and a closet full of draft picks, and that's fantastic. That's great. You've got to hit on those draft picks. I am of the thought process that you have to do both. You've got to try to get some veteran players in here, established players in here to add with those draft picks. That's the way to be successful because that's what I saw the Spurs do for 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Vince, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Thank you for having me. I love your show.
Appreciate you.
I'm going to attempt to give a Spurs fan perspective on this. I've been a fan since '73. As a kid, my dad would take me to the games. So when we were drafting Dave Robinson and Tim Duncan, we were struggling. So I can understand when we struggled last year and we ended up with Wemby. But to tell a modern day fan of today, somebody that's experienced the Spurs post-dynasty, all those great years when teams would cringe to come in and play us, and now they come in and just check us off. It makes we're all patient as fans.
No, we're not.
But it makes it hard, especially when Pop got on the podium last year and said, "Hey, this season's about winning." I don't know who gave him that 180-degree turn, but we all noticed it. And, I think this week in particular, when they're lifting the minutes ban, it's time to start showing our best foot forward as a team and trying to accomplish wins instead of, I don't know what they're setting up for. I don't know. I'm not going to call it tanking like last year, but I don't know where they're going with this.
Well,
what are they trying to accomplish?
At some point, Vince, because Pop did say at training camp this year was about winning.
They're not tanking.
And probably by the time they get back from the rodeo road trip, they'll be officially eliminated from the playoffs. And then it's about tanking. And then you wonder, do they even sit Wemby for the rest of the year, or do they play him so he would be in contention to win Rookie of the Year? We've never gone through a real rebuild before. So I think Spurs fans don't know how to act because we're not used to this. But 2014 was our last championship. And
well, everybody says this is a rebuild. What are they rebuilding? They've got Victor Wembanyama. I don't see any other building blocks on this team.
No, there's
not. So if that's what we're doing, which everybody says, Spurs fans are crying because they've never seen a rebuild. What are they? Tell me what they're rebuilding, and maybe I'll get on board.
Well, I mean, you got Wemby.
That's it.
Well, and that's all they have. And I don't know that they have the parts around Wemby. And that's on the Spurs for who they have drafted over the last couple of years. Because as we just kind of detailed, there's no Hall of Famers there.
Well, they got rid of their two best in Derek White and DeJounte Murray.
Well, I agree with you, but that helped us get to Wemby. and maybe they didn't think those guys, not that they weren't good enough, but they weren't a part of the future. And we've seen the Spurs let guys go to go win somewhere else, so they didn't have to be a part of this. We all thought Keldon was going to turn into something, but Keldon hadn't gotten any better in 5 years.
No.
I don't think he's going to get any better than what we see right now. Devin Vassell, jury is still out. Jeremy, I don't know. We stunted the growth there or not. I don't know, but I know Wemby certainly doesn't have a player like SGA. He certainly doesn't have a player like Josh Giddey to pair with. And, it's still the NBA. You need 2, if not 3, dominant guys like that. So building, all right, we got Wemby. What are they going to do in the offseason to add to what they have with Wemby? And by the looks of it, they'll have a pretty damn good pick to do it with, because we're destined for the lottery for a second year in a row. We'll talk more about it with Sean Elliott. He will join us at 3:15 here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Sports Star boys are headed to Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
February 5th, Robin RJ and Jason and Joe are heading to Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Woo! Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergen X, Southern Recipes Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I didn't want to call Bobo and have to have a confrontation.
Just make a change?
Yeah, because you're so bitchy.
We do it all the time.
You're so bitchy, Bobo.
You always
do you
want to
realize how bitchy you are? And I don't want to fight with you.
You calling me bitchy would be like me calling you a fat bastard. That's projection, dude.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text CAR to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text CAR to 42424. That's CAR to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust, like Whirlpool, Samsung, and LG, in-store or online at the best values. Plus, take advantage of our everyday financing offers on top items, from refrigerators to laundry pairs. And there's more. Get your new appliances delivered or installed quickly at your convenience. Because Lowe's knows appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Subject to credit approval.
My daughter is normally a little goofball, but after a bad night's sleep, she's too tired to be anything. That's why I trust Pure Z's Kids. Pure Z's Kids is mindfully formulated just for kids. Their non-habit forming, drug-free products help my daughter fall asleep naturally, giving her the rest to be her best.
I'm a dinosaur.
Her best.
Kids, for ages 4 and up when needed. Explore our products at zquil.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
They're local, they're San Antonio, and they know sports. They're R&R in the morning, KTFM Floresville, and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn is meeting with the Seattle Seahawks today for a second interview, and we're told that he's got an interview with the Washington Commanders for later in the week. The finalist for the NFL MVP award has been released. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, and Brock Purdy make that list. All NFL awards will be handed out on February 8th.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Thursday afternoon.
Absolutely. Beautiful day in San Antonio.
Gorgeous, gorgeous day. Be a nice day to do the show on a patio somewhere.
Yeah, it would. Be really nice. Although, is it cold outside?
No.
It's not?
No.
Okay.
No.
What do you consider cold?
Anything below 70.
It's below 70, isn't it?
Is it?
So that means it's cold by your definition.
According to my phone, 65.
Well, there you go. It's cold.
Chilly. It's nice. It's a gorgeous day.
According to Pledge, it's 63.
Well, my phone says 65.
I'm just saying, Pledge
my
pulled it
computer
up.
says 66. I don't know. It's in the 60s. How about that?
Mid 60s. It's cold.
You're talking about your age or the temperature?
The temperature.
Okay.
Yeah. I see my phone says 67.
Mine says 66.
My computer says 66. My phone says 65. High today is 66, but right now it says 65. My location.
So we'll go with 66.
Is it because that's what yours says?
Yeah.
Son of a...
You got to listen to Bill Taylor.
Which means it's a little chilly outside.
Maybe a little chilly.
A little bit. But
I'm wearing a half step. So
but you're right. It is.
Again, I'm always in a half step.
Yeah, you really are.
It's the Minix uniform.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with that. Wearing a nice Dallas Cowboys half step today.
Well, it's good that you are still wearing the star.
Always, man. I mean, no matter how mad I get, there's no divorce with your favorite team, right? Now, your side chick team get a little bit more popular, but I'm not going to wear that shirt. Good thing, because the Texans might be changing their look. Let's talk about it on the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
The Houston Texans might be having, or will be having, an entire new look. Not sure what they're going to do, but like James Pledger's going to have to get a part-time job to be able to buy all new clothes.
A new look. So what's happening? The uniform's going away?
Their 4 new uniforms will be unveiled the week of the NFL draft in late April. They will be drastically different than what we have seen for the first 22 years of the franchise.
They're going back to powder blue. They got all upset that, Tennessee's wearing the throwback Oilers. So they said, we will show you We're going back to the Oilers uniforms.
Well, they can't.
With just a little bull on the side.
I mean, you wonder what they actually can do with all the different NFL rules, regulations, and then all the apparel companies that have already made and pre-produced so many things. Like if you're a player and you change your number, you've got to buy out the inventory of jerseys in the pro shop. That's on you. Remember what was it? Jalen Smith, when he changed his number, he had to spend like $500,000-$700,000 buying jerseys.
Yeah.
To do what? I don't. You know what I mean? So what do you do when a franchise completely redoes their entire look? It's not like, from what it sounds like, when I hear drastically different, it's not going to be a slight modification, but they can't because that belongs to the Tennessee Titans.
It does. So, but the Texans are pretty much red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
But they say the all red uniforms are going away. The all dark blue ones,
which is
all of them, right? Going away. And I like those red ones, by the way. I love those uniforms.
I don't like the all red.
I do.
In my mind, the best Texans look is the white jersey with blue pants.
That's boring.
It's clean.
It's boring.
It's clean.
The red ones, solid red.
Solid red.
I like those.
Yeah. The blue jersey and white pants, clean look. I like a good clean looking uniform.
Well, why not? The Cowboys have had the same uniform since the beginning of time.
Oh, with everybody's uniform. And quite honestly, from a play-by-play standpoint, I like easy to read numbers. Numbers that I could see no matter where I'm at the stadium. That's important.
Okay, so, well, since you're not at the stadium in Houston calling the game, you're watching it on TV. So does it really matter what kind of uniform they have on?
Well, of course. I mean, it's not
all red. I love that one. Just stick with that one.
All red.
Those are sharp.
Does the NFL have rules on how many teams can have various color schemes, like a dominant red home jersey, right? Or away jersey, is your main color. Because right now their main color is blue, red is secondary. So are they going to change that to red? Are they going to change the logo?
Hopefully the little bull on the helmet.
That needs to change.
That'll change, right? That has to change.
It might. And Pledge brings up, it's like when the Seahawks radically changed their uniforms.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I hope we're not going neon in Houston.
Well, we could. Maybe orange.
Orange? Can they change their color
highlighter orange?
Can they change their color schemes?
It's going to be interesting. It's something to look forward to see what they're going to do. This will come out in the draft, right? That's when they're going to do it.
The week of the draft.
The week of the draft
is when they're going to do it.
Interesting.
And then Pledge, is going to set up a GoFundMe so his friends will help him buy new clothes.
Okay, so Pledge is written up on the screen. H-Town Blue. What the hell is that?
It's going to be an offshoot of Columbia Blue.
So they are going. See that? They're going back to the
like
Titans.
The Johnson Jaguars?
Or the Houston Oilers. Dude, I'm telling you, they got butt hurt.
They did.
When Tennessee's wearing their uniform, and they're like, we can't have this happen anymore.
But you already have that color scheme to a degree within the division. Will the NFL approve that? That's the question. I could see them looking like the Johnson Jaguars, but what they can't do is what Johnson does. Have a white jersey with powder blue numbers on them that you can't see.
I love those. They're great uniforms.
No, they're awful. You got to be able to see the numbers.
I don't care. I know who the players are.
Okay.
Easy enough.
Who's 12?
For who?
Houston.
I don't know.
Who's 7?
Nico Collins.
C.J. Stroud.
All right, just check it.
I don't watch Houston very often.
You just said you know all their numbers.
I only,
you know who the players are.
I only watch them when they're wearing their red uniforms.
All right, what number is Dalton Schultz?
I don't care. He's 86.
86? Yeah.
He's 86.
Duh.
Yeah.
He's going to be out.
He's going to be out
of a job in Houston.
You think so?
No.
Nah, I think they bring him back.
They will. Maybe soon we'll be able to bet on those games legally in the great state of Texas.
Don't tease me.
According to Ben Fox, who's a sports gambling reporter.
Uh-huh.
With a few monthly state reports remaining, there was over $100 billion legally wagered on sports in the U.S. in 2023.
Yeah.
100 billion.
I wonder what, I don't know, what's a good tax rate? 2%? 4, 5?
$100 billion. I mean, think about all the money Texas is
It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it hasn't happened. I have a feeling it
politics.
will.
That's
Well,
why.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, it's politics.
It's got to happen, doesn't it?
Is sooner rather than later, because everybody's making money for Texas. I mean, there's only a handful of states, about a dozen or so, that haven't legalized gambling.
Yeah.
So Texas hopefully will get on board pretty soon. Sean Elliott from Spurs Television, the Spurs legend, will join us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. When you need an electrician, you know Hill Electric is available to you 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects at my house through the years. They do fantastic work and have for over 3 decades. The family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. Whatever your project is, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price. Never a service charge, always free estimates. Call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or hill-electric.com.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas, presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Yeah, I caught my first fish, Dad.
Great job, buddy. He's a beauty.
Thanks for taking me fishing. Love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure the boat's always ready for those magical father-son moments. Who knows, maybe someday he'll actually like fishing. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This year, wouldn't it be great to stop dealing with thin, brittle, shedding hair and instead have the thick, healthy, gorgeous hair you've always wanted? Well, now you can by using Hair Volume from New Nordic. Hair Volume is the all-natural solution trusted by millions of women around the world to say goodbye to thin, brittle, shedding hair. Look for Hair Volume at your local Walgreens and CVS or online at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com. Go to NewNordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Hair Volume at your local Walgreens or CVS.
Take steps to live a more sustainable lifestyle by investing in plastic-free food storage containers like silicone sandwich bags or beeswax wraps, which can replace the difficult-to-recycle single-use plastic wrap. And while we all do our part, Charmin is working hard to make a difference by regrowing 2 trees for every tree used. We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin? Whether it's the irresistible cushiony softness of Charmin Ultra Soft or the superior strength and absorbency of Charmin Ultra Strong, either way, you can't go wrong.
Are you curious about QC Kinetics? Let me tell you what we do.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a medical director at QC Kinetics.
We treat people who have joint pain, and we use your body's healing properties, the things that you already have in you, in your blood, to heal your knee pain, your joint pain, your shoulder pain, your back pain. You have everything that you need in you already.
The same natural process that heals a cut on your finger also works inside your body.
And so what we do at QC Kinetics is take those healing properties, concentrate them down from your body, and put them where they need to go. We are the experts in regenerative medicine. That's all we do.
And best of all, there's no surgery, no downtime, or harmful drugs.
This is the future of medicine.
And your consultation is completely free. Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210 571-0318.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. I want to tell you about Prize Picks. For those of you guys that like to play and watch games a lot of different ways, there's lots of different ways to enjoy it. I've been a fantasy football player since the very beginning. Heck, I made my bones playing fantasy football, and Prize Picks is the first one that truly suits me. If you're a DFS player, there's no better place to go than Prize Picks because my knowledge matters. This is a game of skill, and I'm not worried about entire teams. I'm worried about my favorite player, my team, my league. All I got to figure is where he might be, where she might be, pick over, under, combine them with other players, get some prize picks, get some fun, but at the same time, use my knowledge. It's Prize Picks, and if you go to prizepicks.com, throw the word Alamo in there for your little promo, I'll tell you what, you're going to make a little bit of extra, get a little bit going, but I'll tell you what, Prize Picks is the one place I have found I can take my fantasy love and take it to the game. That's Prize Pick. Download today, use Alamo, and I know you're going to thank me later.
Check out the Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
If you're San Antonio, there are benefits that come along with it. I will cut you to the front of the line. We're going to hike the return.
On 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Spurs lose by 26 last night to Oklahoma City. And didn't even feel that close. Let's talk about it. The great Sean Elliott joining us here on the Buyers Barricades at guest line. Sean, it's been a tough year, but last night I was getting kind of angry watching that game. Talk me off the ledge, man.
Yeah. That was a hard one. Obviously, I was really looking forward to that matchup while we were on the road trip because, we've been playing better basketball of late. But I knew the other night, as soon as Trey Jones went down, I knew that we were going to struggle until he gets back because he's been the real key. So obviously, Victor's been tremendous. We all know that. But Trey just enhances everybody's game. The way he pushes the pace, his leadership and his toughness on the court. And I knew that we were going to miss that. And so, there were many times throughout that game last night where we were just out of sorts. And if we don't have a general on the floor, we just kind of get out of sorts or discombobulated on the offensive end. And that was my concern going into the game. So, not entirely unexpected. I thought we had a chance to keep it close. I thought at times we looked like we were defeated. Outside of a few guys, it looked like there were a few guys out there that just knew that we couldn't win the game, and it showed in their performance. And so we still have a lot of work to do. But the reason I was looking forward to it is because I just wanted to see where we were compared to OKC. And right now, even though we're both young teams, they look like they're a few years ahead of us.
Sean, you're the perfect guy to ask because, as you know, I'm a little bit old school, right? So I think that point guard thing is pretty important. What was Pop's thinking at the beginning of the year with Jeremy Sohan? What was he trying to do there? Or what did he think he could do with Sohan?
Well, the idea was to have a big lineup. And if you could have a big point guard out there who could defend other guards, and you could also exploit that size on the offensive end of the floor, it was a win-win situation for us. But it's hard to make a playmaker into a point guard. I remember Hank Egan, who was Pop's coach, by the way, at the Air Force Academy and then assistant here for years. We were having that conversation many years ago, and Hank Egan, I'll never forget what he said. He said, "Only God makes point guards," and he's right. I mean, it's just really difficult to kind of instill that mindset, that way of thinking into somebody who doesn't quite have that, that kind of floor general. The floor, court awareness, management, flow of the game, all those things put together. So it's the most demanding position in the game, and it's tough. And so, if you have a point guard, a big point guard that isn't able to dominate smaller point guards, like a Gary Payton type of thing where you can post him, you can play out of him, he can make all the right passes, then it becomes difficult. And so I know what they were trying to do, and in theory, I mean, it was a great thought. It definitely was. I mean, I was excited to see Jeremy at that point guard position and see what he could do, but it didn't really suit him. And so when you put Trey back in the starting line, you can see where things run a lot smoother. Even Jeremy said himself where he feels like he's himself again. You can see in his body language. I think throughout the first 20, 25 games or so, he was kind of struggling, trying to get everybody involved, trying to figure it out. And it might have been wearing on him a little bit, but he's a lot more comfortable now, and he's been playing better lately. He didn't shoot the ball well last night, but and of course, for 82 games, you're going to have that, especially when you're a 20-year-old. So I don't worry about him. We got a point guard situation figured for now, but we've got to get Trey Jones back on the court.
Sean Elliott joining us here on the Blitz 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Clearly, the year hasn't gone the way most of us thought. I think I was at 38 wins, my prediction for the year. Same team as last year, but you've added Wemby. What is I'm going to say what is the issue, but why do you think this team hasn't been able to win more games?
Well, I think there are a lot of things that go into it. I think it's the mindset. It's the basketball IQ. We're not there yet, and what I would like to see, Jason, is I'd like to see us learn from our mistakes, and that hasn't been consistent enough. Where we still have the same kind of little mistakes that cost us in tight games. Personally, I had us. I was telling my family and friends that we were going to win more than 38. So I had us above that. But
I think you said 40 on the show in preseason, right? Is that about right?
I've maybe said that to you in private. I don't know if I said that to but I was making a lot of assumptions. I mean, you look at last year's team. I really thought if we were healthy last year, we were a 30-win team. But there's some veterans. I mean, that really helped us out last year that we didn't bring back. I mean, we didn't have Jakob Poeltl, who contributed to wins. We didn't have Keita Bates-Diop, who even though he didn't start, he contributed to a lot of wins because he had a lot of know-how. You're talking about a 4-year player in college. We don't have those type of guys anymore. And so we'll have Doug McDermott. And so and I thought Jeremy Sohan, he only played, 34 or 36 games last year. So I was assuming that, all the young guys would take another leap forward. And to a certain extent they have, but they're finding out now how difficult it is to win games. I mean, it's little mistakes and 2 or 3 minute spans throughout the course of the game that cost us early. I mean, I feel like we gave away 7 or 8 games to start the season. I mean, we gave away. We had Miami down at half. We outplayed them in the first. Memphis, the same thing. If I went back and looked at the schedule, there were plenty of times we had leads in that first half, promptly lost them coming out in the third quarter because we just didn't have the leadership on the floor that was required. And so I think that was something huge for us. But it comes down to a lot of things. I mean, Jason, you and I talked a little while back, and the fundamentals of the game. When you have guys that are coming out of college and they've only played for a year or 2 most, I see all the fundamental flaws that end up costing us games where we are out of position on defense, where we don't make the right passes. I mean, so many things. When you talk about how to make a simple entry pass in the low block, that's gone. Correct positioning on defense, so you're in a good help position. A lot of that is gone. Closeouts. I don't know how many times we fouled guys that are shooting 3-point balls or foul jump shooters because our closeouts aren't proper. And so those all add up, and I think that's a huge contributor to why we haven't won more games.
Sean, obviously, we talk to Spurs fans all the time, frustrated, and want to know what's going to happen. Everybody loves Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, this guy is amazing on the floor. How do you, just in your opinion, your frame of mind, when it comes to building a team, Are you more a draft pick guy and building that way, or is it a combination of draft picks and adding some veterans?
I think it's a combination. When Big Dave and I came in, we had Terry Cummings there. We had Mo Cheeks. We had Caldwell Jones. Later, we had Paul Pressey. I mean, we had a lot of veterans that could help guide us. Willie Anderson at that time was a second-year player, and he was, up to date and would help us key in. He helped me, key in on my defensive matchups and give me tips on how to guard guys. But it's a whole different ball game now. I mean, back in the day, we all watched a lot of games. We watched a lot of basketball. We didn't just watch of players, if you know what I mean. I mean, on our off days, I watched basketball games. I watched basketball games growing up. So I felt, and I stayed 4 years in college, so I felt like I had a game, and I just needed a little help with from the veterans as far as how do I play this guy? How do I make this cut? My rhythm timing, which shots to take, that kind of thing. And we just don't have a lot of that right now. So we have a lot of young guys that don't have a lot of teachers around them in the locker room or in the huddle or on the floor that can help them out. And it's like it's a one-man or a 2 or 3 man show. It's just the coaching staff trying to hold the players' hands through this process, and it's been tough. So, you need a combination of veterans and young guys, I believe, to get it done.
Sean Elliott joining us here on the Blitz, Spurs legend, TV broadcaster. As I hear you say that, Sean, from the average fan doesn't know the NBA the way you do and what life is like through practice, shoot-arounds, getting ready for a game. When you're talking about some things like that, you bring up some fundamental. During the season, there isn't enough practice time, is there, to work on some of that? Right. Because your practice, you're getting ready for your next opponent, not necessarily working on fundamentals, right?
Right. I mean, I can go all the way back to my first practice at Arizona. I mean, the first 45 minutes of practice was fundamentals, ball and man relation, opening up, letting you through a screen, the proper way to deny, how to force a guy a certain way, how to deny, how to open up. All that stuff is, unless you go through that for 3 or 4 years every single day, you're going to revert back to bad habits. You're going to play high school style defense. And so coaches in the NBA, like when I got my first year, not my first year, pretty much my entire career in the league, coaches could practice you however they wanted to practice you. And so, like my first 2.5 years with Larry Brown, it didn't matter. I mean, today, or they play tomorrow, we had a game yesterday, we'd be on the court for 3 hours today. We'd be on the court, we'd have tape practice, and we'd be out there for 3 hours. And we would go through fundamentals, we'd go through defense, through offense. Now, with the new rules and the Players Association, you can only practice the guys for, an hour and a half or so. You got to get guys off the court and get them rest. So you don't have time. The coaches today, and I talked to all these assistant coaches, coaches they played with or played against. All these guys tell me the same thing. You don't have time every day to go through the fundamentals of the game. You're inserting guys into complex schemes and formulas when they don't know basic math. And so that's a hard thing to do. Doesn't have time to sit there and teach defensive slides and deny position and, things like that. He can point them out to you, can show them to you, but it's not a situation where you can go through that every single day. You're working on sets, you're working on plays, you're working on defensive schemes, but at the same time, you have to have the basic fundamentals down to be able to implement those schemes on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. And if you don't have that basic fundamentals, it's a struggle, just to be able to run plays properly. I mean, there are lots of plays. I mean, if Spurs fans have watched the big three throughout all those years, there was a play coming down the stretch every single game. You can go back and watch games if you want. It was called floppy down. And it was a backdoor play for Tony Parker and Timmy Duncan was at the elbow, and Timmy would throw in the back door, and Pop would call this play in the last minute and a half, and it was always to get a bucket in a tight game. And Tony, Manu, Timmy, they had the wherewithal and the knowledge and the savvy to be able to pull this play off. And I don't know, it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I said, Pop, how come you guys don't run floppy down anymore? I said, our guys, they can't run it. And so, you're dealing with a whole different group of players that had experience and had know-how, and guys that are still trying to figure that out.
Sean, that brings up a great point. And I oftentimes, and because I was just so impressed with Tony Parker as a 19-year-old kid when he came in, and Greg Popovich was all over that young man. I mean, dressing him down on the court and just all over him. Tony talks about that now and how he wanted that because it helped him improve. And I know players have evolved, and it looks like Coach Pop has evolved as well because he doesn't do that anymore. Is that because of the type of player, or why do you think Pop is different? He's still obviously the greatest coach of all time, but his style is a little bit different now.
Yeah. I mean, because kids are different. I mean, Pop got on me. I mean, he said unholy things to me. Tony Parker, Manu, Timmy. Let me tell you, the year that I was out and I was working to come back and get on the court, it was 2001, 2002. I wasn't really retired. I figured I'd come back and play. And we were at the old Continental Airlines Arena playing the Nets. And I went in at halftime, and I was in the coach's locker room, and I could hear Pop in the players' locker room. And he was on those three, the big three, so hard, it was unimaginable. I mean, I had almost never heard anything like that ever. And those three guys were able to accept it. They were able to take in what he was saying because what he was saying was right. It was the truth. And they handled it. It's harder now for him to say that to these younger guys because you're in danger of losing them. So he has to be a lot softer, a lot gentler with them. And I think he's done a great job with that. But again, it's a whole different era of players. I think anybody that's just out there in the workforce would agree with, the mentality that has changed over the years as opposed to like guys like me who are old school, you guys are old school, as opposed to a little bit newer generation, which doesn't mean that they're bad kids. That's not what I'm saying. It's just a different way of motivating them and getting the message across to them. That's what's changing.
I think Sean just called us old.
Yeah, I think he did. But
Of
Sean has
course
said
I did.
nothing but the
Of
truth
course.
here today, right? We all know you're old, Joe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. So it's just a different way of coaching, and Pop's been very adaptable. That's been really, I think that's been the key to his longevity because he's been able to adapt from, guys like me and David and me to Tony and Manu, and adapt the playing style was number one. He adapted that, and then he adapted his coaching style where he's constantly teaching, but it's a kinder, softer, gentler Pop.
Well, and again, I think that's actually you probably should be giving him credit as a leader to adapting on knowing how to motivate your guys and what's going to connect with them to try to get the best out of them. Is the great Sean Elliott is joining us here on the Blitz. Sean, when I'm watching broadcasts, I love when you're going through replays and teaching because I think you do a great job at doing that. While obviously with an 8-win team, tell us some areas where you've seen great improvement from the beginning of the season until now, the little things that we can get excited about as we look towards the future.
The biggest thing I've seen is what has come from Victor because he's a sponge and I tell everybody he's just an anomaly. He's a really smart young man. He wants to be great. He wants to put the work in. And there were several examples. Like there was one example in the Clipper game when we were playing early on where he was open in the low block and there was nobody on his back. And this is when we really had trouble just finding him on the court. And instead of holding that position, he just kept gravitating out to the wing his defender finally caught up to him, and he caught the ball, 15, 16, 18 feet away from the basket when he already had position. Now he's done a great job, a better job holding position, figuring out his footwork. He's got these spin moves, and he's around the low block where if he's feeling pressure on one side or the other, he spins away from it, and he's constantly open for lobs. When our guys adjust even more to that, he's going to be even more dangerous. But he's learning how to use his body more. He's getting to the free throw line a whole lot more. So he's figuring that out, and it's been rapid. And so that's nice to see. His shot selection is better. The only time I really see him take a forced shot is when he hasn't touched the ball in 3 or 4 or 5 possessions down the court, and he's trying to inject himself in the game. And so that to me is perfectly understandable. But I see big improvements in his game and his just figuring out how to be at this level.
Well, he admission,
No
that's
doubt.
for sure. And incredible seeing what he is doing. That is for sure. Sean Elliott, Spurs legend, TV analyst. Real quick, Sean, if it's okay to ask, how's Bill doing? I heard him last night, but how's Bill doing?
He's doing really, really well. He sent us all a text that his treatments are going great. I saw him when I saw him last night. I just thought he looked really good. I said, Bill, you got some of your color back. We started laughing. But he's been upbeat through the whole thing. He's taken this battle head on, and it's been inspiring for a lot of us. And we all love Bill. I mean, the crew. He's my guy. I mean, so we all love Bill to death, and we want to see him around for a long, long time. I want to see him calling games for a long time. And so he's just trucking along and doing very well. And we hope to get some more good news here in the next 6 months or so. But he's I think Bill's handling this as well as anybody on earth would.
Please give him our best, Sean. Will you do that?
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Sean, always appreciate it, man. Back to golf practice for you.
Yeah, I was already out there today. Joe would appreciate this. I call it cheating. I was out there cheating today. And you know what cheating means? That means you're working on your short game. That's what it is. That's how you beat everybody, man. Go out there and cheat. Go out there and work on your short game.
You've been ducking me for years, Elliot. You've been ducking me for
years.
Yeah,
well, because I'm a smart man. I hear rumors about you. You grew up on the country club. Yeah. Drinking all the Palmers with your pinky out. I know you, Joe. You grew up with a golf club in your hand, man.
You'd still take his money.
Yeah.
Sean, always appreciate it, man. We'll catch up soon.
All right.
Good stuff. Sean Elliott on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com. You heard from Sean. Let's hear from you. React to what you heard from the great Sean Elliott. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
You got to be super organized to drive an electric vehicle, man. I ran it down to 0 miles remaining just as I pulled up into the parking lot.
I see 3 extension cords coupled together running several hundred feet out into a parking lot.
You guys are ghetto.
The whole world's going to look ghetto with these cables running around and cars slung all over the place.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
Attendant and more than 35 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Uma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Uma, Smart communications for the smarter business.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could beat lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text JUDGE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 42424. That's JUDGE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Get deals on what you need during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Right now, save $20 on select 5-gallon ceiling paint or primer by HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams. Plus, get 15% off and earn 3 times bonus points when you buy 4 or more Purdy products. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts if any. Valid 1/15 through 1/26. Subject to change.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the Ping G430 Max 10K driver. Straighter flies farther with Ping's most forgiving driver ever made. The Max 10K. Come in today and test drive Ping's newest driver at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Visit us at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless. The storms are serious. The hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Hi, I'm Joe Reinigal. You know, your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They're reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate. 210-785-0994 or go online at stevensroofing.net.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A lot of fun catching up with the great Sean Elliott.
Always is.
If you missed any of that, it will be available in the audio vault powered by AA Best Bail Bonds at sasportstar.com. Sure, Pledge will have that up there shortly. You know, shortly. I don't know, before 10 tonight. Maybe sooner, probably sooner, but by 10 p.m. for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe even
It'll
on
be there.
the YouTubes. I don't know, but check the audio vault powered by AA Best Bail Bonds. Judging by some of the comments on our YouTube, it is interesting because I think Spurs fans are frustrated.
Absolutely, should be.
And when you look at Pledge is now promising by 4.
By 4 o'clock. Attaboy, Pledge.
And Sean is frustrated.
Sure he is.
I think everybody is. And I do find it interesting, and that's why I kind of followed up with Sean on that one question, you know, understanding CBA rules. And I've heard other coaches complain about this, especially new coaches with younger teams. And you hear it in college football, you hear it in the NFL. Practice time is so limited by the CBA that once you get into the season, you know, basic stuff you can't work on. And it's funny because as fans, when we see bonehead plays that are fundamental, and I don't care if you're talking about, football or basketball or whatever, you think about the bonehead plays, but we see it when we're in Oxnard. We'll see the Cowboys working on things. And they don't visit that again because the amount of practice time that they're allowed to have a player, they can't work on that because they've got to work on the game plan and the install for the next game. And it is unfortunate where, a byproduct of unions and load management type of things. But, he's telling the story at Arizona. What did he say? 45 minutes for every practice was worked on fundamentals.
Yeah. And
Larry Brown would have 3-hour practices, even if you played the night before.
Yeah.
Remember back in
remember those days.
my high school days, we would do 2-a-days and bear crawls across the band parking lot. They don't let that happen anymore.
But I remember those with the Spurs. I remember them having a game last and then practicing the next day. I mean, there were no off days where you could go rest and you didn't practice. So yeah, they had that. It wasn't that long ago. But what I love about what he said, and I believe this, and I know, look, I know I'm old school and I know things have happened, and I credit Pop a lot for evolving because I'm not sure that I could if I was in his situation. But Tim Duncan had veterans when he came in. He had veterans on that team that could help him and teach him to go along with the talent that he has. And it's frustrating that Wemby does not have that there's not somebody on the, and I'm not talking about Tim Duncan working with him. That helps tremendously in practice. I'm talking about somebody on the floor that can go to him immediately and say, you should have done this when you did that, and watch out for this. And this guy does that. And that is so important. And that's why I think it is so important that the Spurs get some veteran players in here to help him evolve and get better.
It's interesting because they don't have that. I mean, there is Doug McDermott. Right?
Okay.
He's a coach's kid.
Sure.
He's been around a while. He's a veteran guy. I watched that guy with an inbounds pass last night that was so bad, Chet had an easy interception. Basic. You're a coach's kid.
Yeah.
You make that kind of mistake. Somebody in the YouTube comments mentioned a George Hill type. He's in town, but I really do think the idea of not having that, right or wrong, was by design by the Spurs, in the sense of, we talked in the offseason after we knew we were getting Wemby, and after we officially got Wemby, we spent a lot of hours on this here program trying to figure out what direction the Spurs were going to take. Because I wanted Dame Lillard. Were they going to go out and try an immediate restart, turn this battleship around and go, or give the Spurs a year, give Wemby a year in the NBA to see what he really needs, to see what they really have in Wemby? And clearly they went with that plan.
And that's unfortunate.
And you say unfortunate, right or wrong? I mean, because
to me, it's wrong.
This year is a loss. This year is done. They'll be
now it is. It wasn't when we started out.
No, but I mean, and the idea of how long will it take him to truly be a championship caliber player, with a long-term plan in mind, because we know this organization, they've got that long-term plan. But I think I do agree with you. It's wrong not to have the veteran players in. I think you need that, but I'm assuming the Spurs decided, if we're just going to roll out and see what he's got, we're not bringing in the veterans for whatever reason. And I do think it's a miss, especially knowing that George Hill lives here in town, not doing nothing.
Well, can you imagine a Jakob Poeltl? And Sean mentioned him. If he was here, the help that he could be to a guy like Wemby, just knowing, how the players play and what they do and their tendencies down low. I mean, it just makes too much sense to me to not have somebody and have some veteran leadership on this team other than what they've got.
We have breaking news.
Wow.
Wow is correct. The Atlanta Falcons have hired their head coach. Raheem Morris is the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. No word if Bobby Slowik is still at Arthur's house or not, if he has found his way to the back door, because he is not going to be the head coach.
Interesting. I mean, you talk about a name, it was always Bill Belichick. And then we, with the news today that Slowik was going to get wined and dined by the owner of the Falcons, and that is Raheem Morris, who is being hired by the Falcons. Defensive guy for the LA Rams. Smart guy, obviously, and he's done a great job. But, boy, that's a surprise.
It is, although if you're a Texans fan, don't celebrate too soon. Don't drop that ball on the 2-yard line while you're running in for an easy touchdown, because I could see Washington now say, all right, Ben, you've got games to play. Bobby, we're drafting a quarterback. Come be the head coach of the Washington Commanders.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
as
it's
far as
possible.
I'm concerned, you can still say that. That's what it is, what it should be.
Old school guy.
Yeah,
Sure.
what it should be. All right, Commanders. That's the worst name in the NFL. Is that not the worst name in the NFL?
Well, it belongs in San Antonio, so yeah, I'm not a fan.
It's horrible. It's awful. So,
all right. So Raheem Morris.
Raheem.
So let's see. So you've got the Seahawks and the Commanders. Let's see. We've got Vrabel. We've got Quinn. We got Slowik, Ben Johnson, still potential candidates, and others. I mean, because let's face it, nobody really thought Dave Canales was going to be the Panthers job.
Boy, you talk about two surprises today, right?
Yeah, and nobody thought Raheem Morris was going to get the Atlanta job. And, and maybe Bill Belichick ends up in Washington. I mean, there was so much talk about that while he was still the head coach of the Patriots.
These interviews are important, though, and I think it changes minds. If you got a guy in your mind that you think, and then somebody like Raheem Morris comes in and just blows you away, it changes your mind. That's why they do the interviews, and that's why they're important. They're not just a dog and pony show. I mean, and so a guy like Raheem Morris obviously impressed the Atlanta Falcons, and now he's their head coach.
What I do find interesting, because he's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In this offensive-driven league, and so many of the young, successful coaches being offensive-minded, let's get a guy that's been there, done that, but on the defensive side, and they know him. He was with the Falcons before, so some comfort level. He understands what he's getting into, and so much of it, how well are you going to get along with the people that you're working with? And I do wonder, like with the Bill Belichick, the amount of control that he's used to having in Atlanta, were they willing to give that up? And the answer was clearly no, because they didn't hire him, or the amount of money that he was going to want, or the amount of staff that he was going to want to bring in. I mean, all of that, the business side of things. But that one is a bit of a surprise. I mean, the fact that you've got Canales, I mean, I do agree Antonio Pierce was the best hire for the Raiders, but Mark Davis in the past didn't take the interim tag off of a coach and went out and found somebody. That's big time.
Think about it. Other than Jim Harbaugh, the other coaches are just young guys. I mean, they're young guys, new head coaches. So you're getting a new taste, a new wave of guys coming in, and it's refreshing as far as I'm concerned. I want to see how these guys do. Harbaugh's the only guy that's been a head coach in the NFL that has been hired. These other guys are coordinators. Raheem Morris was interim at one time with the Rams, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. A new wave of head coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, and only 2 jobs are still open. Seahawks and Commanders.
Dan Quinn's in Seattle as we speak,
with an interview scheduled next week in Washington.
That's true.
And in Washington,
does Seattle let him get out of the door?
Well, there's that.
If that's who they want.
And the question is, if San Francisco wins on Sunday, how quickly does Ben Johnson get the job?
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's odd that if they're serious about Dan Quinn, why is that second interview scheduled for next week? You have an interview today in Seattle. He could be on the private plane and in Washington on Friday or even on Saturday.
Well, I think it's scheduled in advance. So, I mean,
but if they really wanted him, how soon can you get in for an interview? Or, hey, we're in no hurry here, so let's do this next week. If you get the Seattle gig, go ahead, because you're not our first option anyway. He's got a game this week and you don't.
Perhaps. We'll see what happens.
Unless, of course, they hire somebody that we're not expecting in the next 10 minutes.
And that's been the trend thus far. There's been a lot of names that are really coming out of nowhere.
Dude, Brian Callahan in Tennessee.
Yep.
Dave Canales in Carolina. Didn't see those two.
No, Raheem Morris
now.
And you mentioned Pierce, another guy that's going to get a shot. So
Harbaugh,
he's the only old guy.
I wouldn't necessarily call him old. I wouldn't call Raheem young either. He's been around a long time.
Yeah, but it's first opportunity as a head coach. And I think it's exciting. What does he do with Ritter? Do you trade for Justin Fields? I mean, there's all kinds of things now that you have a head coach in place and a general manager. Some of these other things are going to start to fall.
Bobby Slowik impressed so much. He's going to be the associate head coach and offensive coordinator for Atlanta.
Bobby Slowik?
Yeah.
Huh.
You think I'm just saying that to piss you off, James?
Uh-huh. They need an offensive coordinator.
Well, they do.
Yeah. Could be.
And his promotion would have the associate head coach title.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not a lateral move.
A little more money than what the Texans are paying.
Yeah, but Georgia State taxes. Got to cover that.
Do they have taxes in Georgia?
Dude, Texas and Florida are the only ones that don't.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd like to take your word for that.
Well, we can make a beer bet.
Dude. When we make a beer bet, let's make sure that Joe says, yeah, okay, let's do that.
Well, I generally
do. That's a great idea, Jim.
When I know I'm right and you're going to question me, I'm going to get beer out of the deal. That's how it seems to work.
I have to agree with the bet. You can't just say, that's a beer bet, and
it's a great idea, Jim.
And then go in there and win the bet. I mean,
it's
not
a great
idea, Jim. It's not exactly how those things
like
work.
Taking candy from a baby.
I have to agree with it. I don't agree with half of these things. You and Pledge, y'all are bullies, man. You and Pledge.
You just sell beer.
Y'all are
Would
bullies.
you go to the store and buy me some Yingling?
Bullies.
Yeah, that's what we are.
Oh, hang on a second.
What? Hang on a second.
Scared. I'm not scared to take it. There's a poll that I'm looking at. I can't see the thing because I got a poll that's staring at me. Joe's scared to take a beer bet?
Are you going to take a beer bet?
No.
Because I'm right.
Well, I don't know that you're wrong.
You could say that I'm right.
I don't know that.
It won't kill you.
That does not come out of my mouth because it happens so very few times.
You want to check how much beer you've put in my fridge over the last 2 years?
Well, we're talking about bets or your dumb takes. I mean, either way, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, both are generally spot on.
Yeah, exactly.
Generally, nobody bats 1,000, especially you. But
getting close though.
I mean, dude, you're hitting bunts at 167. Come on. You're like a pitcher up at the plate.
That's it.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star.
I got a hell of a fastball, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, I've also got a message for you that's going to change your dental game in about 60 seconds. Ask you a question. Are you fed up with the same old dental routine? You know what I'm talking about. The endless trips to the dentist, dealing with missing teeth, temporary fixes that never really seem to stick. Well, I've got the answer for you. It's called Doctor's Implants. At Doctor's Implants, their board-certified oral and facial surgeons are ready to transform your smile. You can say goodbye to the frustration of traditional dentistry and welcome a brighter future. Don't let old-school dentistry hold you back any longer. Embrace your future with full-mouth dental implants at Doctor's Implants. You can check them out at doctorsimplants.com. Here's the kicker. When you give them a call at 210-640-0000, tell them I sent you, Joe Reinagle from the Blitz. You're going to get a complimentary consultation and a CT scan. Your journey to a perfect smile begins at Doctor's Implants. So don't wait. Call them today, 210-640-0000.
The Sports Star boys are headed to Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
February 5th, Robin RJ and Jason and Joe are heading to Sin City and Radio Row for the big game with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and Woo! Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here. Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-285-5280. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-285-5280 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-285-5280 to see if you qualify. That's 800-285-5280.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open with a true Vegas feel. The Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Hurt in a wreck? Get George. Hit by an 18-wheeler or commercial truck? Get George. Injured at work? Get George. When you're dealing with personal injury, you need to get George because George gets justice. I'm George Salinas, and my San Antonio-based firm has been recognized across the state of Texas and the United States. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text CUT to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text CUT to 321-321. That's CUT to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, it is breaking right now. Raheem Morris has been hired by the Atlanta Falcons to become their brand new head coach. Boy, I tell you what, it's been the carousel's been turning today. Tampa Bay, their offensive coordinator, Dan Canales, has been hired by the Carolina Panthers to be their new head coach. And Dan Quinn, he's in Seattle meeting with the Seahawks, his second interview.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The Blitz, where breaking news happens. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
You know, Raheem Morris, I mentioned that, and a lot of folks on YouTube mentioned the Tampa Bay stand. I forgot about that, but
it was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm just saying, though, but Raheem Morris has been around a long time.
Jalen Ramsey just tweeted out that the Falcons are getting the best coach out there, and what he does with defenses are incredible. I still find it interesting that, and Ian Rappaport just tweeted this as I was thinking it. He gets the job over Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Belichick, the only place he's officially interviewed is Atlanta, right?
That's it.
What does that say?
Well, I think it says a couple of things. Number one, teams have to take into consideration, is Belichick just looking for a job to break Don Shula's record?
Yes.
I mean, seriously, is that the reason why? And he's 72 years old. How long can you depend on him? And thirdly, he hasn't done squat since Tom Brady left. All of those things.
I mean, facts, truth, 100%. And he's going to want all the control in the building. And that's a big part of it. It is kind of odd. And again, his age, the guy can still work and still wants to work. He's not going to be anywhere for the next 20 years. And when you look at most of these coaches, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and you're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because you kind of go back, you look at all these coaches, how quickly they get turned over, yet every program talks about wanting continuity. And like, we're mad at Dallas for keeping Mike McCarthy, yet he's a lame duck coach, which I think is a bad situation. It worked once with Jason Garrett. The second time Jerry tried it, Jason Garrett he's at NBC now. So when you look at it, what do you want in a program, right? You don't turn a battleship overnight. You know that. 2, 3, 4 years, coordinators change. And I think this year, more than any in recent memory, in Philadelphia being the prime example, that coordinators, man, they matter more than we give them credit for, more than you might think. And look at Philadelphia, and I'm mad at Philadelphia because they fired their guy and then they hired the Cowboys kryptonite and Vic Fangio. That was a great hire by Philadelphia, and it pisses me off.
And now when they put Cliff Kingsbury in there or Kellen Moore, it's really going to make it. I'm not sure about Kellen Moore. But I find it interesting. And Raheem Morris, good for him. I like all the hires that are new guys, though. It's not a bunch of retreads going in. And even Jim Harbaugh, for that matter, coming out of college, he left the NFL, went to Michigan, won a national championship, and now he's coming back to the NFL. And so what you're seeing is teams going in different directions, trying new ideas and new people, and I'm here for it. I think it's great.
And again, it is interesting when you look at the 2 jobs that are left. One looks like a really good job, and one is Washington.
I think Washington is going to be a great job.
Well, will whoever gets the job now be around when it is a great job again? Because, this Washington hire, and it does look like they have zeroed in on the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. And they'll draft a quarterback high, whoever Ben wants, and he's going to work with them. The ownership is a great ownership group. And I say that as a New Jersey Devils fan. I know when he took over the New Jersey Devils, who won a lot of Stanley Cups in the mid-'90s and the early 2000s, and then they were a dumpster fire for many years, and then they got back to being great again. He also owns Philadelphia, the 76ers, and they've been trusting the process for a number of years. And as much as it pains me to say this as a Cowboys fan, the NFL's better when Washington is good.
Sure, the entire NFC East. It's better.
And they've just been such a dumpster fire for so long and so poorly run. And again, as a Cowboy fan, it's great when they're the butt of every joke.
Sure.
But I do think, if they're better, that makes the Cowboys better. That will make the Eagles better. That will make the Giants better, because the NFC beast, when it's fantastic. And that's great for the overall NFL. But how quickly will they be able to turn that around in Washington? And a big part of that is who they end up hiring as the head take, and how quickly can that quarterback be successful in the NFL? Do they get a Bryce Young rookie year, or do they get a C.J. Stroud rookie year?
Yeah, again, that's very unfair to Bryce Young. I mean, it really is. Bryce Young went to a dumpster fire. C.J. Stroud went to a team that it was put together and had a better coach and everything else. Now, C.J. Stroud, in my opinion, is better, but I think it's unfair to Bryce Young to compare him like that. However, the Commanders, I almost called them the Redskins too. I wish we just call them the Redskins. All right. Look, they got rid of their two best defensive players. They're going to have some money to play with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to take that long for Washington to turn that thing around. Not saying they're Super Bowl contenders next year, but I don't think it's going to take them all that long to get that thing turned around. With the right coach, if Ben Johnson is the guy, which it looks like from every publication on the planet, it looks like it's going to be him. And what he's done with the Detroit Lions offensively, I don't think it's going to take him that long. I think Washington will be a player sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's so interesting when you start looking at all the different coaches, the coordinator picks, just all of it is, I don't know. Is it just because we're caught up in the moment? A little bit more interesting this year than maybe in years past. Maybe because there were 8 head coaching openings, and with that many openings, that's 25% of the NFL.
Yeah.
And with it, you've got some surprise hires, which left what you thought were shoo-in candidates. Just which job are they going to take? One or two of those, Bill Belichick, who ain't going to TV. They're going to be left out of this hiring cycle, which, quite honestly, is a big surprise.
Oh, it's a huge surprise. The guy that I wonder about is Mike Vrabel. What do you do with him? He's a good coach. Is he going to be somebody's defensive coordinator if he doesn't get hired? With Seattle, it looks like is the only option left, and he has been there to interview. Dan Quinn's there to interview again. But if Vrabel is not hired, does he take a year off and wait until next year, or would he consider being somebody's defensive coordinator? I don't think he would, unless it comes with a situation like the Dallas Cowboys, where he knows that he's the next guy in waiting.
And the idea of I'm going to just take a year, and Mike McCarthy did, I'm going to take a year and then go find the best job available. And there is the idea and the thought, although with 25% of the jobs open this year, do you want a job? Do you want any job, or you want to wait for the right job? And Vrabel could.
The Dallas Cowboys perhaps will have an opening next year.
The Cowboys, it was apparently in the contract that Gerard Mayo was going to become the head coach of the Patriots when Bill Belichick left. That was in his contract. So a lot of us thought that Vrabel would end up in New England, but we didn't know about that little nugget in the contract. And then you wonder about, how long will Nick Sirianni stay on as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
He's lame duck. I mean, sincerely.
I mean, look, he lost both his coordinators last year, and the Eagles fell apart. They've hired new coordinators because Jeffrey Lurie went to him and said, if you want to keep your job, you've got to replace these coordinators. And these coordinators are going to be, one's calling the defense and one's going to be calling the offense. During his press conference this week, a reporter literally asked Nick Sirianni, what exactly do you do here?
The offensive coordinator is going to be in charge of the offense, and the defensive coordinator is going to be in charge of the defense. What is your role going to be?
The head coach of the football team.
What does that entail? How does it change?
Yeah, I guess it'd be this very similar to what's going on right now. If that mean I'll sit more into defensive meetings at times, maybe. Right? Instead of always being in an offensive meeting, maybe I go to a defensive meeting here and there. But my job is to be the head coach of the team, not the head coach of the offense, not the head coach of the defense, not the head coach of the special teams, but be the head coach of the football team. And so that's building the culture. That's making sure the culture's, working, with our 5 core values, are taking every day at a time. Like, we're not coming up with new core values. We may shuffle where the things are that are important. And the most important, but that's diving into that, building the culture, having a relationship with the team, because I know when I have that connection with the guys on the football team, that's when things are, that's when the culture is working and working at high level, and then that's where our connection with the players and then their connection with each other works well too.
I'm confused by that answer.
Well, I mean. A head coach, in my mind, and I know it's changed a little bit now, but is that? I mean, you've got an offensive coordinator, you got a defensive coordinator, they run their particular unit, and the head coach oversees everything. And so I really don't understand the question by the reporter, to be totally honest with you. I'm the head coach.
The Philadelphia reporter being an ass.
I see yes, and I get that, but I think he's a lame duck head coach. If they don't succeed this year, he's out.
What exactly do you do here? That wasn't a very succinct answer either. He was kind of stumbling through. Well, I'm the head coach.
That's all he needed to say. I'm the head coach. I oversee everything. That's what I do.
We got our core values, although we might shuffle them around a little bit. And, I want to make sure that all the players like me and we're friends. And I'm bringing snacks at halftime.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Exactly. I'm the guy that's got to answer all these dumb questions by you reporters because the coordinators don't come up here.
Except once a week.
Yeah, well,
they do in Dallas. Not everybody gets to talk to.
Not everywhere.
Yeah. The NFL postseason awards honors list.
Yeah.
They'll do that big show on February 8th.
Yes.
MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Offensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year. Man, that list is stacked with Dallas Cowboys.
That aren't going to win a thing.
Stacked with Dallas Cowboys.
They won't win a thing.
Will Dak win MVP? We'll tell you who he's up against officially on the ballot next here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. If you're grilling this weekend and you want to be the MVP of your grill, that starts with a trip over to Tri-County Meat Market. They're 2 great locations because if you're going to have a great meal, it starts with great meat, and there's no better place to get your meat than at Tri-County Meat Market. Locally owned and full service, they have everything you need to up your grilling game. Beef, chicken, pork, fajitas, poppers. If you're wanting to do beef ribs this weekend, that's what I'm thinking about. Pork ribs, English crosscuts, they've got them. Tri-tips, picanha, sausage. They're brisket burgers. Maybe you want to do burgers and hot dogs. Their hot dogs are better than anything you're going to find anywhere else. Go try them there at Tri-County Meat Market. They have exactly what you need with the quality you expect. And you can always take advantage of their Pick 5 for 25. Tri-County offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. They have 2 great locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner, online at tricountymeat.com.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Now is the best time to buy a Connecticut water softener. With current models being closed out to make way for the new ones, you can save big. Call Connecticut at 656-PURE and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you. That's 656-PURE.
Your local Y has all the fitness facilities and classes you want with none of the pressure. So you can stay true to you and stay in your community. At the Y, everyone belongs. Join today. Learn more at ymcasatx.org. Find your Y this year at YMCA San Antonio. Happy New Year.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Joe, I've invented the perfect exercise machine. It's practical, efficient, and fits in any home. I give you the Row and Go. Ta-da! It's a rowing machine that connects to your toilet, so you can row and...
Stop. Folks at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC will help homes stay in tip-top shape. Call Quarter Moon 651-5899.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 210-651-5899.
License number M16004, DACLA 000743458E.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
The Jim Rome Show.
Hey, Jim Rome here, and back in the military city of San Antonio.
Weekdays at noon on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
As the NFL coaching carousel turns, it is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Interesting to think that Bill Belichick is probably not going to get a job this go around since he only interviewed so far for Atlanta, and there's only 2 jobs left after Raheem Morris gets the Atlanta job today.
Go enjoy life, Bill. You're 72. You're in good shape. Go enjoy life, man. You've earned it.
Think about this little nugget. Of the 30 current NFL head coaches, since there are 2 openings, 18 were not born the last time Bill Belichick didn't have a job coaching in the NFL.
Interesting. And again, I love it. And Shefty just tweeted out that the 2 remaining, the Commanders and the Seahawks, not expected to hire anybody until after the conference championship games next week.
You know, which makes you wonder. Clearly, they're waiting for one of those coordinators, right? Now, you look at Staley, maybe he stays with the Chargers. Shereen Williams just tweeted that out. The guy gets fired as the head coach, but do you bring him back as your DC?
Wow. Interesting.
That would be interesting. The Houston Chronicle is reporting that Bobby Slowik does remain a candidate for the Washington and Seattle jobs as Atlanta goes in a different direction. I'm just not sure if, you think about all the available coaches, and, we continually mention, like Vrabel and Dan Quinn. You still have Pete Carroll, Bobby Slowik. Schefter talks about Mike McDonald. There's other candidates out there, and you just what's coming from left field, because Raheem Morris to Atlanta does feel like left field. I think Texans fans at breakfast this morning were ready for their great guy, Bobby Slowik, to be the head coach today, since his interview with Atlanta today was at Arthur Blank's house, right? You wonder if he was even off the property when Raheem Morris got the job.
Well, and I mean this sincerely, not to irritate Pledge, but
yeah, you do.
Are they talking to him about being their offensive coordinator? That's certainly a possibility.
I would think, since they hired a defensive-minded head coach in Raheem Morris, that associate head coach, offensive coordinator would be in play.
I would think so.
The question, if you're Bobby Slowik, even though on paper that's not a lateral move, do you leave C.J. Stroud for Desmond Ridder?
Well, I don't know.
The answer is no.
Well, but is Desmond Ridder going to be your quarterback? I don't know. I mean, Justin Fields has been rumored that that's a possibility in Atlanta. So
Would you leave C.J. Stroud for Justin Fields?
I don't think I would leave DeMeco Ryans, much less anybody else, for, and nothing against Raheem Morris. But I think if I'm Slowik, you're familiar with DeMeco, you know what his vision is, and you stay there. And then, wait for your chance at a head coaching job in a year or 2.
The NFL honors coming up the week we're in Vegas for our Radio Row coverage, which starts next week.
Wow.
Crazy, isn't it?
Well,
not next week.
Not next week.
Yeah. A week from Monday.
About 10 days.
A week from Monday. Most valuable player. Your 5 finalists. In alphabetical order. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy.
Well, you get all excited till you get to Brock Purdy.
Defensive player of the year. Deron Bland, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt.
Interesting.
Got 2 Cowboys in there.
Are we picking, or are you just reading the candidates?
Well, do you want to pick?
Yeah, I will. Go ahead, though.
Well, Lamar's going to win MVP.
Yeah, I think that's a foregone conclusion. So, defensive player of the year. I mean, look, I could make a case for Deron Bland with what he did, but I think Max Crosby might be the guy.
It's interesting when you look at the candidates. You can make an argument for every one of them, but Deron Bland did something that nobody has ever done before.
Yeah.
And for a guy that wasn't expected to do anything, I would vote Deron Bland, and I know I'm a homer, but I just think the story and what he was able to do with all his pick sixes, and basically, Diggs gets hurt and Deron Bland comes in and says, all right, here we go. I don't think Micah, I mean,
Micah or Myles Garrett. I don't know. You could make a case for Garrett. He played pretty well.
I mean, Garrett, I mean, that Browns defense, that Browns team got to the playoffs because of their defense.
That one's going to be interesting because there are more candidates there, I think. I mean, Lamar Jackson's the MVP. That's a foregone conclusion. But Defensive Player of the Year, I'm not going to be surprised if it's any of those guys.
AP Offensive Player of the Year, your candidates, Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott.
I think Tyreek Hill had that wrapped up until the end of the season,
and
he just kind of faded a little bit. So I could make a case for CeeDee Lamb, but if I'm guessing now, I think it's going to be Christian McCaffrey.
I wouldn't be mad if Christian McCaffrey were to win it. It's interesting because I look at Dak Prescott without trying to sound like a homer.
But you do, though.
To go from leading the league in interceptions one year to leading the league in touchdowns the next and throwing, again, regular season only, as few as he did with the yards that he put up. I don't know how you give it to CeeDee Lamb instead of Dak Prescott. Although CeeDee Lamb is a big reason why Dak Prescott had the numbers that he did.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win that thing. Christian McCaffrey will win it.
AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, Gibbs, Laporta, Nakua, Robinson, and C.J. Stroud.
I think that's a foregone conclusion there, too. I think C.J.
Stroud.
Hey, Puka had a hell of a year.
He did.
I mean, he really did. But, yeah, I think with what C.J. Stroud did, I don't think that's a no-brainer in my mind.
Yeah, Houston's also going to get the Defensive Rookie of the Year with Will Anderson. You also have Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr., Kobe Turner, and Devon Witherspoon. But, yeah, that's Will Anderson. Houston will get trophies in Vegas. This is the interesting one to me. Your AP Comeback Player of the Year. Joe Flacco, DeMar Hamlin, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, and Tua. Now, DeMar Hamlin came back from death.
Well, he did.
Right? Joe Flacco came back from the couch. Baker Mayfield came back from hell. Matt Stafford came back from an injury. And why is Tua on the list? I know he had concussions last year, but does that get you on the list for Comeback Player of the Year?
No, it shouldn't, and he's not going to get it. Unfortunately for Baker Mayfield, you can make a case for him that he should get it. DeMar Hamlin didn't play enough. It's going to go to Joe Flacco because he's the feel-good story of the NFL season.
Stafford literally came back from injury. By definition of what I think of Comeback Player of the Year, Stafford, in my mind, is the only one that qualifies. But
Stafford,
yeah, because he got hurt last year, couldn't play. They weren't a playoff team without him, and this year, he was there. But honestly, I think Baker Mayfield, for everything that was written and said about this guy, the way he played, what he battled through, and for him to do what he did this year in Tampa Bay, I think is worthy of an award.
And he's on the list. There you go. He's going to get recognized. He's got a ribbon. He's one of the finalists.
Coach of the Year, Campbell, Harbaugh, D'Amico, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin Stefanski.
The only two here that are it's going to come down to is Dan Campbell and D'Amico Ryans. I think those two guys. Now, Stefanski, you can make a case for, but the other two, I don't think so. I think it comes down to Campbell and D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico got the Pro Football Writers Coach of the Year. Campbell with what he's done. But when you think about just straight up coaching this year, Stefanski with all the injuries they had there in Cleveland, bringing in all these different quarterbacks, Flacco off the couch, that defense was great. I don't know that I would vote for Stefanski, but I kind of hope he wins because I think with what he did more with less. D'Amico just, with everything that they did was the biggest surprise. I'm not sure Harbaugh and Shanahan, they did a great job of not screwing things up and had the 1 seed all year.
Exactly, they did. Look, I think the sentimental pick, honestly, here is Dan Campbell. D'Amico Ryans, I think, deserves it. If I had a vote, that's who I'm voting for. But a close second would be, for me, Dan Campbell. But I just think with the sentimental thing of getting Detroit back to relevancy, I think Dan Campbell's going to win that thing.
More than relevancy. Your AP Assistant Coach of the Year could be interesting because all of these but two are actual head coaching candidates. Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, who's the DC in Baltimore, Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator in Baltimore, Jim Schwartz, and Bobby Slowik. I'm going with Todd Monken. Dude was at Georgia, goes to Baltimore, and you've got Lamar as your MVP. You look at what that offense has done.
Do you think Monken did anything with Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
What? I think I could have been the offensive coordinator. Lamar, go do your thing, buddy.
Are you kidding? I know, Pledge, I'm fully aware that Lamar has won an MVP in the past, but watching Lamar go through different reads, added the intermediary, the short passing game. He's not one read and run. I think Monken should get a ton of credit for what they're getting out of Baltimore.
Great credit. Ben Johnson wins that award.
Because he fixed Jared Goff?
Because it's the feel-good story of the NFL season. The Detroit Lions, they're going to run away with it. It's like that hit movie that wins all the Oscars.
See, Pledge wants to vote for Mike McDonald because they did have an historically great defense this year.
Well, you knew somebody was going to. You just had the wrong team.
Yeah, close but no cigar. That's what it works out to. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You think about all the NBA in this rivalry week that's going on. A lot of fun last night. Just with the one-on-one matchups, if you will, between Wemby and Chet. That's the way the NBA was billing it. You want to add excitement to watching games, especially if you're watching the Spurs. You need something else. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to the website, underdogfantasy.com, and start playing the Pick'em game, which is a ton of fun to play. You build your Pick'em entry by selecting between 2 and 5 players, and all you have to do is select whether they will go higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. It is fantasy, the cash is real, and it is legal in the state of Texas. So go download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to the website, sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a special pick of higher than a half total yards to use on your first Pick'em entry, which are great for this weekend's conference championship games. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Underdog Fantasy, promo code STAR. Go do it now. Go download the app or go to the website, underdogfantasy.com.
It's R&R in the morning.
On R&R in the morning, we'll look at the Spurs. The Trailblazers are in town. Can they get off this night and win a home game finally? And we're going to look real close at that guy named Scoot Henderson. Remember the one might have drafted if we didn't get Wemby? That turned out so well for him.
2 Super Bowl tickets will be punched on Sunday. The Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, Niners, all looking to meet up with us in Las Vegas. Who will it be? We have thoughts. Join us at 6 a.m. Bring the coffee and the snacks.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're from Washington. We love Febrez's new scent. Refresh and energize.
So much we made a song about it.
I can't escape this feeling inside. Refresh and energize. It's a mood. It's a vibe. Breathing for the first time. So free, so alive. Breathe happy for free. Smells like paradise. Breathe happy for free. La, 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 la.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust, like Whirlpool, Samsung, and LG, in-store or online at the best values. Plus, take advantage of our everyday financing offers on top items, from refrigerators to laundry pairs. And there's more. Get your new appliances delivered or installed quickly at your convenience. Because Lowe's knows appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Subject to credit approval.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GEAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by
This year, wouldn't it be great to stop dealing with thin, brittle, shedding hair and instead have the thick, healthy, gorgeous hair you've always wanted? Well, now you can by using Hair Volume from New Nordic. Hair Volume is the all-natural solution trusted by millions of women around the world to say goodbye to thin, brittle, shedding hair. Look for Hair Volume at your local Walgreens and CVS or online at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com. Go to NewNordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Hair Volume at your local Walgreens or CVS.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks, with everything from tequila cocktails to extensive bourbon categories that you will not believe. Their top shelf spirits and cocktails served over those icy balls cannot be matched. Twin Peaks has you covered. And don't forget about the 29-degree man.
It's a DJ.
It's a DJ.
Yeah. Little EDM for Pledge.
Goodness.
Pledge is going to a rave later.
Yeah.
He's dressed for it with his sweater on today. Go see DJ Diesel.
Yeah. All right.
Who was that guy that stood us up in L.A.?
Oh, the
Diplo.
Yeah.
Diplo.
The Diplo.
Yeah. Have you heard from him since he stood us up? I think it ruined his career.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He is?
He's doing all right.
Well,
He's just fine.
Yeah.
Where's he playing? Like flea markets and stuff, or
He's
what?
all over.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, you have no idea.
Well, dude, I don't want to have any idea. How about that?
You have no idea. The Diplo is massive in
He's
that.
massive, huh?
And that, well, and they get mad at me when I call them the Diplo because it's just Diplo, but I call them the Diplo.
Diplo.
No,
And
the Diplo.
The Dip. I know, but Diplo for.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of worldwide.
Kinda.
Boy, he's a handsome fella.
Dude, we were 10 feet away from him, remember?
Well, no, he had to go eat.
Yeah,
remember?
I
He
know.
didn't have time
They
for
had
us.
crappy chicken strips. You got one more interview to do and then lunch, or go to lunch and then come back and do an interview. Dude, we got an appointment. You got to keep it.
Exactly.
He
Don't
blew
care
us off.
Who you are.
Exactly.
Emmett Smith keeps his
Excision wouldn't do that
appointments with
to us. He's another DJ in that world.
Who?
Excision.
Oh,
Yeah.
you hire these guys for weddings, or?
I mean, if you got enough money, you could.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
I'm just
but
wondering.
you would need a lot of money.
Need some 80s music going, and
I don't think that's
music.
not what you're getting with these guys.
I'm just saying.
That's not at all what you're getting.
I know some good DJs that play some great music like that, you know?
Well, we're not talking about a $200, let's put him in the corner DJ that walks in with, his laptop and a speaker.
Well, some of those guys are really good.
They are really good. But that's you're talking about
$200 now.
I know a lot of DJs.
Yeah, is that all?
Well, it depends.
I guess. Wow.
You gotta have a fancy DJ name.
Yeah, you do.
And look, we work at a radio station. We have a lot of DJs in this building. Who the hell has turned into DJ I don't flush?
Exactly. Which is I go in there.
There's 2 days in a row.
I go in there during this. So, and I go to the urinal and I see yellow soup. And it's like, I got to flush it. I'm like, I don't want to stand there and pee over somebody else's pee.
I know.
I mean, if
it splatters, you want it to only be yours, not somebody else's.
That's exactly right.
Good Lord.
So you got to flush the toilet or the urinal before you pee, then flush it again. So if they're trying to save water, they're not doing it.
It's just gross. What do you guys do at your place of employment when you run into this? Because I know this isn't just isolated to our place. Because yesterday I went in and the urinal was in use, so I had to go to the stall, and there's 2 in there, and so I went to the one and I picked the wrong one because it was full. Somebody was in there and filled that thing up with the deuce and didn't flush. And you're not peeing on that either. And it wasn't hard. Put my foot up, flushed the toilet, peed, and got out of there after I flushed again. Wash your hands and come back to work. That's the way it works, right?
Yeah.
It's not complicated. But 2 days in a row, we've both gone to the restroom during the show and come back bitching about somebody not flushing.
I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't take that long. You just little real nice. Go about your business. Go wash your hands, and then you're golden.
Do we need to who do you talk to? Right? I mean, do we get a sign that we can
yeah, we should. Please flush.
Just the reminder.
Unbelievable.
I'm not sure what you're writing up there on the.
I'm just saying, if we were to profile, who do you think's doing it?
Well, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people in the building right now, so we could probably narrow it down.
Yeah. We could. I don't want to name names. I don't want to profile publicly.
Why not?
Well, I don't know half the people on that side of the building, for one, so I couldn't name their names.
Exactly.
I don't do it. I mean, get here about 12:30. We're on the air at 2. The only time we leave our little area, because our office is like literally right across the hall from the studio. Right. So I don't know who's in the building, who's not in the building at all times.
I haven't walked over to the KTSA newsroom in a while.
Me neither.
I need to walk around and get reacquainted with the place.
You mean socialize?
Sure.
That's so unlike you.
Well, I mean, we socialize with the salespeople because their office was right there.
Well, and then they walk by down the hall past our office, and they stop and visit.
It's nice.
So I mean, but it is a problem.
It is.
I mean, do we need to put up signs reminding people,
please flush?
Your mother doesn't work here.
Well, whose mother's flushing for him at home?
Well, I mean, what else do you write? I mean, it's when Rob was getting in trouble for leaving crumbs from his Pop-Tarts on the counter after he would toast them, there was the sign that your mother doesn't work here.
Well, we know who put that sign up.
We do.
Yeah.
But I also know she is not going to go into any men's room and flush.
No, but
so I mean, but do you just put a sign up here, a reminder to flush?
I think we should. We can get those made pretty easily.
Well, just get a pen and a blank piece of paper and a tack.
Well, that too.
I mean, unless you want it all fancy, as Ryan or Laura to make a flush sign.
I just want.
And I think you need one standing right at the urinal. Put one, in the stalls, and then one on the door on the way out. Put one by the paper towel. But I'm wondering, if you're not flushing, are you washing your hands?
Well, that's another thing. And Speaking of that, I'd like to get one of those little, what do you call those little plastic mats that has the bullseye?
You want a target?
Yes. I think those are so cool. When you walk into a bar or someplace, a restaurant, they got that thing there, and it's a game.
You pee enough at a bar, you do need a game. Something else to entertain you.
It's a game.
I see you walk into the men's room over there at the roof pub. There's 2 urinals, and Joe is gambling with the guy next to him on who's going to be able to score the goal.
Well, and you could pee in that target and have the little horse race like they do at a carnival. Dude, now we ought to invent that. That would be cool. Yeah, a little horse racing up the urinal, and whoever gets to the top,
well,
maybe it would flush when it got there. I think I'm going to invent this.
I mean, not that it's not already out there. They've got the soccer goal nets where they have the little soccer ball that dangles, and you try to use your pee stream to push the ball into the net.
Now, see,
they used to have those when Gordon Hartman first had the Scorpions at Open Toyota Field. They had those.
Uh-huh.
I haven't been over there in a while for a soccer game. I don't know if they're still there.
Well, I hope nobody's stealing them.
That was one of the problems when they first got it. People stole them.
Really?
What the hell are you thinking?
Oh, my gosh. Wow. I like the horse idea. I really do. That's just how can I make that happen? Pee in the target and the horse race.
I think you should start with a patent attorney because I think something like that out there
probably right.
Probably already.
Well, you got
out
them in
there.
carnivals with the water guns. I'm thinking urinal, horse, perfect.
Yeah, but you'd have to have enough aim, and then enough people to qualify for a race. And then that guy that's in the bathroom that gives you a paper towel to make sure you wash your hands, is he going to be the official starter?
Hey, dude, can you come over here and pee? I need a.
And in reality, would you wait for everybody else to line up for the official start? Or do you want to get in, pee, and get the hell out?
Well, I don't necessarily need, competitors.
Race against yourself?
You have your own little race. When you get into a certain thing, the thing automatically flushes. I'm telling you, I got an idea here.
See, Rudolph Gonzalez is wondering if you've got a strong enough stream for that kind of race.
Depends on how much beer I drink.
I mean, you might peter out at the quarter pole.
Well, I've known to peter out, but I'm just saying, you drink a lot of beer, it's
short races.
It's powerful enough.
Yeah, short races. It wouldn't be like the Kentucky Derby, man.
You'd be surprised.
As much as you pee, I would be.
I got a little staying power.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Sure.
Luka doesn't have a lot of staying power.
Luka, what?
That's a bad segue. I'm sorry.
But it's true. He's a little dumpling, isn't he?
A little dump.
I mean, this guy.
A little dumpling?
What a softie.
What the hell does that mean? A little dumpling.
He's a sweet little dumpling, a little softy.
Dude.
I just got a call from Luka. He wants you to be escorted out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
So by now, if you've watched SportsCenter, you've been on Twitter, you saw he got a fan ejected last night. The fan heckling. And in Dallas, the media sitting right there courtside by the bench. So you hear everything. Back in the Spurs days when we would have those kind of seats, you hear everything. And you hear a lot of things.
Yep.
Luka had a fan ejected. And it was interesting how he did it because it's all on video. He heard something, looked back, looked, and just like, boom, out. Almost like a rock star telling the roadie, see that blonde over there in the third row? Backstage.
Yeah.
He just looked at that dude, pointed in, and he was out of there. Phoenix Suns fan that was giving him a ton of crap. Tim McMahon from ESPN tweeted out because he's sitting right there. The guy literally was a row or two behind Tim. Tweeted out that Luka asked security to eject this Suns fan who was sitting 2 rows behind midcourt press row. The comment the fan made that drew the wrath, Luka, you're tired. Get your ass on the treadmill.
Which is perfectly okay.
Now,
nothing wrong with that statement.
That drew the ejection from Luka, who apparently has the kind of power to just do that. After the game, Luka kind of went after Tim McMahon a little bit about, of course it was you, Tim, that would tweet something negative about me.
Luka, what were you frustrated about at the end of the second quarter when you got that technical?
I know I saw you when you said about the fan, that was not a true all. That was not the only thing he said. But I knew you would be the first one to point out something like that. I'm not going to say what he said, but I knew you were going to be the first one to put out something like that. So I just saw it, man. It's just funny. You always seem to be the first one to put some bad stuff about me.
First of all, 99% of the stuff I've written about you has been good.
I don't know.
I was sitting 2 rows behind us.
All right. So it was the only thing that time he said something, the only thing?
That was what you reacted to.
Yeah. I was hearing the whole first half, right? Oh, you didn't hear anything?
He was definitely hollering.
Okay. There we go.
Acted.
But you put out something that was just the only thing. But
okay, the final straw? What was the final issue? What was the thing that?
It's not the issue. I'm just seeing you seems to be the first one to always put something bad about me.
Several of us actually tweeted that.
That's fine. It's all over.
Why did you ask for the fan to be ejected?
Because he was cursing me the whole first half too.
Why didn't you ask for him to be ejected in the first half then?
Because I never would eject a fan. They pay for tickets, but I had enough. It's a little bit of frustration.
You turned your head and looked over at him after he said that. That's what we saw.
Yeah, that's fine. The bad guy in the media, right? It's all right.
Like you're fairly portrayed in the media?
No.
What? When in the world can an NBA player not name? Well, LeBron James does it all the time. But now is it just open season on fans? You can't heckle a player, or you might get tossed. When did this happen?
There is certain things that cross a line that I am 100%.
Yes, sure.
Taking Luka for what he said. Guy was saying something the entire game.
Luka's the only one that heard it, apparently.
No, I mean, Tim acknowledged I heard him, but that comment is what was the final straw. And Luka's upset that that's what McMahon tweeted out. Although, Tim, that's what the fan said, and that's when Luka pointed. All the other cursing the entire game, you finally had enough, but that was it. But I don't know that anything he said technically crossed the line. The fact that fan got ejected immediately, they didn't go warn him. They didn't go try to clarify, ask people sitting around. Because if you're down there by the scores table, there's a lot of NBA officials there that could verify what Luka was claiming. But he just pointed, and that guy was gone. Boom, just like that.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And those were good seats.
Yeah.
I mean, that was not a cheap seat that dude was in. Now, look, if he's crossing the line, and you shouldn't be cursing at the players if that's what he was doing. I'm not sure what Luka considers cursing. And obviously it wasn't that bad because the people around, for Luka just to look over, point to the official and say there, and that fan is ejected out of here, is just, to me, crossing a line of a player.
Now,
that needs to remember, by the way, that fan being there pays that big salary that Luka makes.
Just playing devil's advocate, right? Just playing devil's advocate. As quickly as that ejection happened, with the point and the thumb and the security took him out, I do wonder, some point along the game, maybe the fan was warned. Maybe security had asked Luka, or Luka had said something to security. Hey, man, go tell them to chill out a little. Because that just happened too quick for him to be able to do that. So part of me wants to believe, and maybe I'm being naive here, that he really doesn't have that kind of, but wants to believe that there was talk earlier in the game about the heckling and the comments that he was making. And I would hope that he was warned, because that guy didn't object either. He was up the stairs and gone. So I do wonder if...
Well, what are you going to do? You're going to fight?
Well,
you're going to say, hell, I didn't do anything?
Argue with security. I'm getting thrown out for saying get your ass on a treadmill.
And it's not a bad idea, Luka.
I do wonder, though, if there was something a lot more to it than what we saw, what we read on Twitter, and Luka's response. I got to believe NBA security would have to have a lot more than that than just a player just to point you and out you go.
Well, obviously Luka is not very thick-skinned because he's lecturing Tim McMahon about all the bad things that he writes about him. I mean,
not bad for a player that doesn't read anything before he got to the podium.
Well, they never
after they
do,
got their
do
ass
they?
kicked, 132 to 109. He did have 34 points, but there's that 10-minute cooling off period. Then you go to the podium. So the first thing Luka did was check Twitter and see what Tim said.
Luka's a great player, but that just I lost total respect for him for that. I don't know what happened, but just going and whining at the post-game press conference is ridiculous.
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. What do you guys think? Your call is coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Parker's New Vision. I want to tell you all about him, and I know I've been doing it. I want to brag on these folks because they are good at what they do. I'm living proof. Had I lens replacement surgery about 6 months ago, and I see better now than I've seen in 30 years. In fact, my results were so good that my wife, Maggie, had her eyes done, and now she is thrilled with what they have done for her as well. Look, they can do the same thing for you. All you have to do is take that first step and give them a call, 210-585-2020. Check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. When you call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020, you set up a time for a consultation. You go in and visit with them, ask all your questions, tell them that Joe Reinagle from the Blitz sent you, and they'll answer every question that you have. You will feel comfortable by the time you leave there. You make your appointment. The entire day is just, it's really very simple process. The whole thing is. Look, it's changed my life. I no longer wear readers. My wife no longer wears glasses. They can do the same thing for you. First step, call them. Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020.
The Sports Star boys are headed to Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
February 5th, Robin RJ and Jason and Joe are heading to Sin City and Radio Row for the big game with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Woo!
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here. Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com. It is time to play Past the Pigskin for a chance to win $5,000 cash and tailgate prize packs. Celebrate with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds by entering the Pork Rind Appreciation Day giveaway at PorkrindAppreciationDay.com. That's PorkrindAppreciationDay.com. And don't forget to pick up your favorite bold-flavored, protein-packed Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds today at H-E-B.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Coaching carousel in full swing. In fact, Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris has been hired this afternoon by the Atlanta Falcons as their new head coach. Carolina Panthers hiring Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator Dave Canales as their next head coach. Dan Quinn still looking for a job. He's interviewing with the Seattle Seahawks today. Second interview for Dan. He's scheduled next week to go to Washington.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on this Thursday afternoon.
Beautiful day in San Antonio.
No rain today.
No, not sure if there were too many clouds in the sky. Was there?
65 according to my phone right now. No rain in the forecast on my phone.
Next Saturday, like a week from?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we got spring days.
I'm okay with that, but you know what's going to happen. You watch the local news, weather people. We need the rain. I know we got a bunch, but we need the rain.
Yeah,
they always say that.
Well, because we always need it.
Really?
Well, we have 3 meals a day, right?
Oh, okay. What did rain?
You know,
6, 7, 8 inches?
Well, see, and that's the problem. Last night, what were we doing last night? I forget. Well, we went to dinner. We got home. The rain, it was bad rain. And, I watched the local news for a few minutes. Haven't done that for a while. And then I hear Bill Taylor say, the problem is there's nowhere for all this rain to go. Right? So even though we got a lot, apparently we don't get to keep it. That's the way
it runs off. See, that's it.
That's the way it works.
So they'll throw up that drought monitor and it'll still be brown.
Yeah, because the Spurs game, I don't know, it wasn't going well. And Joanna had something like, well, what's all this rain? Like, do I need to leave for work early in the morning because roads are going to be bad? And, as she goes to the medical center, some of those back roads that she takes tend to flood. And so she was interested in watching the weather last night. That's why we watched, because it's been a while, to be honest.
Well, I every now and then.
Miss it?
Do I miss what?
Old home wink, watching the news?
No.
Being on the news?
No, not really.
You're watching critique?
Sometimes. Let's say I can do that. Look at that dude's suit, man. How's he wearing that?
You actually say that?
He's got a hair out of place. No, I don't do that. That's the kind of comments I used to get.
Well, absolutely. Well, although that's BS. You've never had a hair out of place.
Well, that's a good point. But, some people weren't fans of my suits or a particular tie. You get those comments.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Not fans of your suit.
Well, it would happen. Why is he wearing that?
I mean, this is interesting because clearly you're colorblind, with what matches. That surprises me. Not that I expected to go here at all, but you do. You worked in TV news for 25 years at Channel 5.
Yes.
The friends that I know that are female in the TV news, the crap that people
Oh,
email
yes.
them.
They get it worse than anybody.
My God, your hair, your makeup,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, why do you even look at that stuff? You people are just mean
sometimes.
But I've never had a guy tell me that they've gotten mean emails.
Well, I don't know if it's mean.
If
It's
they
like,
say your suit sucks, I think that qualifies as mean.
I'm not sure if it sucks, but it's, maybe that tie doesn't match, or that's an ugly tie, or what.
Well, did you dress
It
yourself?
didn't happen very often. Of course I did.
Well,
it didn't happen very often, but I mean, sometimes it would happen. But the women in TV news they get the most.
It's brutal. It
can be, yeah.
Brutal.
Well, and then you've got the typical, dudes that think they're,
Oh, yeah.
hey, woo,
I'm going to send her this picture. She'll date me.
I'm Joe Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that, guys. Don't do
that's a great idea, Jim.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. I mean, because even the hottest of news chicks.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to tell them, boy, you're ugly. There's something about your nose I don't like. I don't like your eyes. Your hair is messed up.
Did
you see that shirt you were wearing the other day? Don't do that. Like, shut up.
I mean, usually it was other women doing it,
Well, cattiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, the guys are sending pictures of parts that they shouldn't be sending pictures of. and that that doesn't go over either.
No, I never had that happen.
You never got one of those?
No, I never got that. And not that I never heard from any of my
colleagues.
colleagues.
I have.
I think they were just trying to impress you.
No, because, here's the bad part, guys. They show them.
And we laugh.
Everybody, like, dude, what are you doing?
That's not what we laugh at.
One in particular who's not here in this market anymore. Another one is.
Yeah.
They used to joke about it all the time.
The stories. A lot of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, a lot of pretty people. And so that happens.
And somehow you managed to keep a job for 25 years.
Isn't that amazing?
It is incredible.
Yeah. Well, I've known to peter out.
Not sure what that means there.
After 25 years, I petered out.
You left for something better.
I had a great opportunity. Yes. Great opportunity. Pretty happy. Yeah, pretty happy because
you get off work at 6.
Yeah, that
instead of 11.
None of my colleagues in the TV biz are going to the Super Bowl next week. So I'm just saying,
come in at noonish, leave at 6ish.
Well, but that there's a
we
do work at home,
Oh,
right?
that's-
I mean, we get started at home.
Yeah, no, people. I mean, we get up early, start working on the show. We text, we call. We do.
I don't know about getting up early. You don't get up early.
Well, your definition of early and my definition of early are different.
Well,
but
I go work out and then come home and start working on the show.
Yeah. And by the time you're done going to work out, I'm getting up. So, I mean, it's about the same.
Poor Ray today. He's a big Buffalo Bill
good
fan.
Lord. He's
Poor
a
guy.
Bill fan now?
Well, he always has been.
It's kind of like my neighbor Eli. I still hear that kid crying every night going to bed knowing his Bills are out of the playoffs.
Poor
and they
guy.
suck.
Poor guy.
He even sent his brother over yesterday. He's afraid to come over.
Yeah.
His brother, I don't know.
Are you mean to him?
Am I mean to him?
Why is he afraid to come over?
Because he knows I'm going to give him crap about his Bills.
Oh, okay.
That's a kid that talks a lot of smack.
Well, why didn't he talk smack back at you about your Cowboys?
Oh, he did. And then his Bills lost and he's gone MIA.
I see. I got you. All right.
I mean, they're out there on the trampoline jumping and he'd walk out in the backyard and he bolts inside. Then I hear him crying because his Bills lost. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. We were all crying last night watching the Spurs play. That was awful last night. They only lose by 26.
That's all.
To Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it with the great Sean Elliott. He will join us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast because you do it. The best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours for stress-free bail bonds, it's AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Whether you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or online at mybestbailbonds.com.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start. Everybody, how are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
There's a reason why we say Connecticut is the last water softener you'll ever own. Call us at 656-PURE. I'll even let you try a Connecticut water system for free. We'll change your water, and it'll change your life.
Best water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyer4us.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, a billion-dollar insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyer4us.com.
Oh no, your little one has caught a cold and has a cough. Help them feel better fast with Dayquil Kids from Vicks. It's specifically formulated just for kids, and it helps treat their most bothersome cold symptoms. It's also available in 2 delicious flavors, honey and berry. Dayquil Kids is the daytime congestion, coughing, stuffy head, stuffy nose, just for kids medicine. Pick it up at your local pharmacy or any major retailer today. For kids 6 and up, use as directed.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Save up to 80% when you file with TaxSlayer. Start for free.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
I love San Antonio, man. I love it.
On 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Spurs lose by 26 last night to Oklahoma City. And didn't even feel that close. Let's talk about it. The great Sean Elliott joining us here on the Buyers Barricades at guest line. Sean, it's been a tough year, but last night I was getting kind of angry watching that game. Talk me off the ledge, man.
Yeah, that was a hard one. Obviously, I was really looking forward to that matchup while we were on the road trip because we've been playing better basketball of late. But I knew the other night, as soon as Trey Jones went down, I knew that we were going to struggle until he gets back because he's been the real key for us. Obviously, Victor's been tremendous. We all know that. But Trey just enhances everybody's game. The way he pushes the pace, his leadership and his toughness on the court. And I knew that we were going to miss that. And so, there were many times throughout that game last night where we were just out of sorts. And if we don't have a general on the floor, we just kind of get out of sorts or discombobulated on the offensive end. And that was my concern going into the game. So, not entirely unexpected. I thought we had a chance to keep it close. I thought at times we looked like we were defeated. Outside of a few guys, it looked like there were a few guys out there that just knew that we couldn't win the game, and it showed in their performance. And so we still have a lot of work to do. But the reason I was looking forward to it is because I just wanted to see where we were compared to OKC. And right now, even though we're both young teams, they look like they're a few years ahead of us.
Sean, you're the perfect guy to ask because, as you know, I'm a little bit old school, right? So I think that point guard thing is pretty important. What was Pop's thinking at the beginning of the year with Jeremy Sohan? What was he trying to do there, or what did he think he could do with Sohan?
Well, the idea was to have a big lineup, and if you could have a big point guard out there who could defend other guards, and you could also exploit that size on the offensive end of the floor, it was a win-win situation for us. But it's hard to make a point guard. I remember Hank Egan, who was Pop's coach, by the way, at the Air Force Academy and then assisting here for years. We were having that conversation many years ago, and Hank Egan, I'll never forget what he said. He said, "Only God makes point guards," and he's right. I mean, it's just really difficult to kind of instill that mindset, that way of thinking into somebody who doesn't quite have that, that kind of floor general, the floor court awareness, management, flow of the game, all those things put together. So it's the most demanding position in the game, and it's tough. And so, if you have a point guard, a big point guard that isn't able to dominate smaller point guards, like a Gary Payton type of thing where you can post him, you can play out of him, he can make all the right passes, then it becomes difficult. And so I know what they were trying to do, and in theory, I mean, it was a great thought. It definitely was. I mean, I was excited to see Jeremy at that point guard position and see what he could do, but it didn't really suit him. And so when you put Trey back in the starting lineup and see where things run a lot smoother, even Jeremy said himself where he feels like he's himself again. You can see in his body language. I think throughout the first 20, 25 games or so, he was kind of struggling, trying to get everybody involved, trying to figure it out. And it might have been wearing on him a little bit, but he's a lot more comfortable now, and he's been playing better lately. He didn't shoot the ball well last night, but in the course of 82 games, you're going to have that, especially when you're a 20-year-old. So I don't worry about him. We got a point guard situation figured for now, but we've got to get Trey Jones back on the court.
Sean Elliott joining us here on the Blitz 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Clearly, the year hasn't gone the way most of us thought. I think I was at 38 wins, my prediction for the year. Same team as last year, but you've added Wemby. What is I'm going to say what is the issue, but why do you think this team hasn't been able to win more games?
Well, I think there are a lot of things that go into it. I think it's the mindset. It's the basketball IQ. We're not there yet. And, what I would like to see, Jason, is I'd like to see us learn from our mistakes. And, that hasn't been consistent enough. where we still have the same kind of little mistakes that cost us in tight games. Personally, I had us. I was telling my family and friends that we were going to win more than 38. So I had us above that. But
I think you
was
said 40
making
on the show in preseason, right? Is that about right?
I maybe said that to you in private. I don't know if I said that to but I was making a lot of assumptions. I mean, you look at last year's team. I really thought if we were healthy last year, we were a 30-win team. But there's some veterans. I mean, that really helped us out last year that we didn't bring back. I mean, we didn't have Jakob Pertl, who contributed to wins. We didn't have Keita Bates-Diop, who even though he didn't start, he contributed to a lot of wins because he had a lot of know-how. You're talking about a 4-year player in college. We don't have those type of guys anymore. And so we'll have Doug McDermott. And so and I thought Jeremy Sohan, he only played, 34 or 36 games last year. So I was assuming that, all the young guys would take another leap forward. And to a certain extent they have, but they're finding out now how difficult it is to win games. I mean, it's little mistakes and 2 or 3 minute spans throughout the course of the game that cost us early. I mean, I feel like we gave away 7 or 8 games to start the season. I mean, we gave away. We had Miami down at half. We outplayed them in the first. Memphis, the same thing. If I went back and looked at the schedule, there were plenty of times we had leads in that first half, promptly lost them coming out in the third quarter because we just didn't have the leadership on the floor that was required. And so I think that was something huge for us. But it comes down to a lot of things. I mean, Jason, you and I talked a little while back, and the fundamentals of the game. When you have guys that are coming out of college and they've only played for a year or two most, I see all the fundamental flaws that end up costing us games where we are out of position on defense, where we don't make the right passes. I mean, so many things. When you talk about how to make a simple entry pass in the low block, that's gone. Correct positioning on defense, so you're in a good help position. A lot of that is gone. Closeouts. I don't know how many times we fouled guys that are shooting 3-point balls or fouled jump shooters because our closeouts aren't proper. And so those all add up, and I think that's a huge contributor to why we haven't won more games.
John, obviously, we talk to Spurs fans all the time, frustrated and want to know what's going to happen. Everybody loves Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, this guy is amazing on the floor. How do you, just in your opinion, your frame of mind, when it comes to building a team, are you more a draft pick guy and building that way, or is it a combination of draft picks and adding some veterans?
I think it's a combination. When Big Dave and I came in, we had Terry Cummings there. We had Mo Cheeks. We had Caldwell Jones. Later, we had Paul Pressey. I mean, we had a lot of veterans that could help guide us. Willie Anderson at that time was a second-year player, and he was, up to date and would help us key in. He helped me, key in on my defensive matchups and give me tips on how to guard guys. But it's a whole different ball game now. I mean, back in the day, we all watched a lot of games. We watched a lot of basketball. We didn't just watch of players, if you know what I mean. I mean, on our off days, I watched basketball games. I watched basketball games growing up. So I felt, and I stayed 4 years in college, so I felt like I had a good feel for the game, and I just needed a little help with from the veterans as far as how do I play this guy? How do I make this cut? My rhythm timing, which shots to take, that kind of thing. And we just don't have a lot of that right now. So we have a lot of young guys that don't have a lot of teachers around them in the locker room or in the huddle or on the floor that can help them out. And it's like it's a one-man or a 2 or 3-man show. It's just the coaching staff trying to hold the players' hands through this process and it's been tough. So, you need a combination of veterans and young guys, I believe, to get it done.
Sean Elliott joining us here on the Blitz, Spurs legend, TV broadcaster. As I hear you say that, Sean, from the average fan doesn't know the NBA the way you do and what life is like through practice, shoot arounds, getting ready for a game. When you're talking about some things like that, you bring up some fundamental. During the season, there isn't enough practice time, is there, to work on some of that? Right. Because your practice, you're getting ready for your next opponent, not necessarily working on fundamentals, right?
Right. I mean, I can go all the way back to my first practice at Arizona. I mean, the first 45 minutes of practice was fundamentals, ball and man relation, opening up, letting you eye through a screen, the proper way to deny, how to force a guy a certain way, how to deny, how to open up. All that stuff is, unless you go through that for 3 or 4 years every single day, you're going to revert back to bad habits. You're going to play high school style defense. And so coaches in the NBA, like when I got my first year, not my first year, pretty much my entire career in the league, coaches could practice you however they wanted to practice you. And so, like my first 2.5 years with Larry Brown, it didn't matter. I mean, today, or they play tomorrow, we had a game yesterday, we'd be on the court for 3 hours today. We'd be on the court, we'd have tape practice, and we'd be out there for 3 hours. And we would go through fundamentals, we'd go through defense, through offense. Now, with the new rules and the Players Association, you can only practice the guys for, an hour and a half or so. You got to get guys off the court and get them rest. So you don't have time. The coaches today, and I talked to all these assistant coaches, coaches they played with or played against. All these guys tell me the same thing. You don't have time every day to go through the fundamentals of the game. You're inserting guys into complex schemes and formulas when they don't know basic math. And so that's a hard thing to do. Doesn't have time to sit there and teach defensive slides and deny position and point them out to you, can show them to you, but it's not a situation where you can go through that every single day. You're working on sets, you're working on plays, you're working on defensive schemes, but at the same time, you have to have the basic fundamentals down to be able to implement those schemes on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. And if you don't have that basic fundamentals, it's a struggle, just to be able to run plays properly. I mean, there are lots of plays. I mean, if Spurs fans have watched the big three throughout all those years, there was a play coming down the stretch every single game. You can go back and watch games if you want. And it was called floppy down. And it was a backdoor play for Tony Parker, and Timmy Duncan was at the elbow, and Timmy would throw in the backdoor, and Pop would call this play in the last minute and a half. And it was always to get a bucket in a tight game. And Tony, Manu, Timmy, they had the wherewithal and the knowledge and the savvy to be able to pull this play off. And I don't know, it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I said, Pop, how come you guys don't run floppy down anymore? I said, our guys, they can't run it. And so, you're dealing with a whole different group of players that had experience and had know-how, and guys that are still trying to figure that out.
Sean, that brings up a great point. And I oftentimes, and because I was just so impressed with Tony Parker as a 19-year-old kid when he came in, and Greg Popovich was all over that young man. I mean, dressing him down on the court and just all over him. Tony talks about that now and how he wanted that because it helped him improve. And I know players have evolved, and it looks like Coach Pop has evolved as well because he doesn't do that anymore. Is that because of the type of player, or why do you think Pop is I don't want to say different. He's still obviously the greatest coach of all time, but his style is a little bit different now.
Yeah. I mean, because kids are different. I mean, Pop got on me. I mean, he said unholy things to me. Tony Parker, Manu, Timmy. Let me tell you, the year that I was out and I was working to come back and get on the court, it was 2001, 2002. I wasn't really retired. I figured I'd come back and play. And we're at the old Continental Airlines Arena playing the Nets. And I went in at halftime, and I was in the coach's locker room, and I could hear Pop in the players' locker room. And he was on those three, the big three, so hard, it was unimaginable. I mean, I had almost never heard anything like that ever. And those three guys were able to accept it. They were able to take in what he was saying, because what he was saying was right. It was the truth. And they handled it. It's harder now for him to say that to these younger guys, because you're in danger of losing them. So he has to be a lot softer, a lot gentler with them. And I think he's done a great job with that. But again, it's a whole different era of players. I think anybody just out there in the workforce would agree with, the mentality that has changed over the years, as opposed to like guys like me who are old school. You guys are old school, as opposed to a little bit newer generation, which doesn't mean that they're bad kids. That's not what I'm saying. It's just a different way of motivating them and getting the message across to them. That's what's changing.
I think Sean has called us old.
Yeah, I think he did. But
Of
Sean has
course
said
I did.
nothing but the
Of
truth
course.
here today, right? We all know
Yeah,
you're old, Joe.
yeah. Oh yeah, of course. So it's just a different way of coaching, and Pop's been very adaptable. That's been really, I think that's been the key to his longevity, because he's been able to adapt from, guys like me and David and me to Tony and Manu, and adapt the playing style was number one. He adapted that, and then he adapted his coaching style, where he's constantly teaching, but it's a kinder, softer, gentler Pop.
Well, and again, I think that's actually, you probably should be giving him credit as a leader to adapting on knowing how to motivate your guys and what's going to connect with them to try to get the best out of them. Is the great Sean Elliott is joining us here on the Blitz. Sean, when I'm watching broadcasts, I love when you're going through replays and teaching, because I think you do a great job at doing that. While obviously with an 8-win team, tell us some areas where you've seen great improvement from the beginning of the season until now, the little things that we can get excited about as we look towards the future.
The biggest thing I've seen is what has come from Victor, because he's a sponge, and I tell everybody he's just an anomaly. He's a really smart young man. He wants to be great. He wants to put the work in, and there were several examples. Like there was one example in the Clipper game when we were playing early on, where he was open in the low block and there was nobody on his back. And this is when we really had trouble just finding him on the court. And instead of holding that position, he just kept gravitating out to the wing. His defender finally caught up to him, and he caught the ball, 15, 16, 18 feet away from the basket when he already had position. Now he's done a better job holding position, figuring out his footwork. He's got these spin moves, and he's around the low block where if he's feeling pressure on one side or the other, he spins away from it, and he's constantly open for lobs. When our guys adjust even more to that, he's going to be even more dangerous. But he's learning how to use his body more. He's getting to the free throw line a whole lot more. So he's figuring that out, and it's been rapid. And so that's nice to see. His shot selection is better. The only time I really see him take a forced shot is when he hasn't touched the ball in 3 or 4 or 5 possessions down the court, and he's trying to inject himself in the game. And so that to me is perfectly understandable. But I see big improvements in his game and his just figuring out how to get this level.
Well, he's certainly been worth the price of admission.
No
That's
doubt.
for sure. And incredible seeing what he is doing. That is for sure. Sean Elliott, Spurs legend, TV analyst. Real quick, Sean, if it's okay to ask, how's Bill doing? I heard him last night, but how's Bill doing?
He's doing really, really well. He sent us all a text that his treatments are going great. I saw him when I saw him last night. I just thought he looked really good. I said, Bill, you got some of your color back. We started laughing. but he's been upbeat through the whole thing. He's taken this battle head on, and it's been inspiring for a lot of us. And we all love Bill. I mean, the crew. He's my guy. I mean, so we all love Bill to death, and we want to see him around for a long, long time. We want to, I want to see him calling games for a long time. And so he's just, he's just trucking along and doing very well. And we hope to get some more good news here in the next 6 months or so. But he's, I think Bill's handling this as well as anybody on earth would.
Please give him our best, Sean. Will you do that?
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Sean, always appreciate it, man. Back to golf practice for you.
Yeah, I was already out there today. Joe would appreciate this. I call it cheating. I was out there cheating today. And you know what cheating means? That means you're working on your short game. That's what it is. That's how you beat everybody, man. Go out there and cheat. Go out there and work on your short game.
You've been ducking me for years, Elliot. You've been ducking me for
years.
Yeah,
well, because I'm a smart man. I hear rumors about you. You grew up on the country club. Yeah. Drinking all the Palmers with your pinky out. I know you, Joe. You grew up with a golf club in your hand, man.
You'd still take his money.
Yeah.
Sean, always appreciate it, man. We'll catch up soon.
All right.
Appreciate it. Sean Elliott.
Great.
On the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. I think Sean would take your money at this point.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Get him out to the Golf Club of Texas and see what happens.
We can do that.
Lots to digest there from Sean Elliott.
No kidding.
You want to react to what you heard from Sean? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776.
Hey, let's talk about life's unexpected curveballs. You ever been hit with challenges that kind of leave your smile in the dust? Well, I've got something uplifting for you this afternoon from Doctor's Implants. Life, of course, can throw some serious hurdles our way. And at Doctor's Implants, they meet patients every day facing the fallout of medical conditions causing their teeth to go south. But here's the scoop. At Doctor's Implants, they're on a mission to bring back your smile no matter what life throws your way. Look, if health-related dental problems have been holding you back, don't lose hope. Doctor's Implants is your ticket to a fresh start. Check them out at doctorsimplants.com. And get this, when you call them at 210-640-0000 and mention that I sent you, Joe Reinigle from the Blitz, well, that's your key to a complimentary consultation and CT scan. Don't let life's challenges steal your smile. Call Doctor's Implants today. 210-640-0000.
The Sports Star Boys are headed to Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
February 5th, Robin RJ and Jason and Joe are heading to Sin City and Radio Row for the big game with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website, alawyerforus.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do. Help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. As my father told me a long time ago, insurance companies are not trying to get to heaven. They're trying to make a profit. You cannot blame a lion for being a lion. Hire a hunter to help you. That's me. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400, or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets, and your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with bourbon and late-night bites? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Celebrating 10 years in business, the Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Limitations apply.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast. Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in 1 wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Sean Elliott.
He's awesome.
He is. And you feel better when you talk to Sean, just for the obvious reasons, right? But, and if you want to hear what Sean said again, make sure you heard what you thought you heard him say. It's up right now, Pledge says, at the Audio Vault, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds on our website, sasportstar.com. The frustration level is certainly there, and let's face it, it's they got 8 wins.
Yep.
This year was about winning.
It was.
And they haven't done that yet. The importance of Trey Jones. And I said this earlier in the show, and I'll repeat it now, and this is not what Sean said, although he did bring up basketball IQ. Last night, we saw a lot of dumb basketball.
Uh-huh.
And we saw a lot of dumb basketball from players that shouldn't be making those kind of mistakes. And like I said earlier, I was so mad at Devin Vassell, I literally said the F word at my TV when Wemby is in the paint with a little dude guarding him. The mismatch was obvious, and Devin Vassell tried a a pull-up jumper over Chet. Where in basketball anywhere do you say that's the best decision? You don't.
No, you don't. I'm glad my TV is not sensitive because I do the same thing.
Oh, my goodness.
Right? I mean, it happens all the time.
What are you doing?
But I think, I think it's been that way all season. And I don't want to say it's jealousy. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But it's just like, I know Wemby's there. He's the big light, the big star that's come in. And Vassell and Keldon Johnson and Sohan to some extent, feel like they still have to be involved. And I'm not sure what the answer is there, but you're right. When you're talking about last night, you're talking about any game, pick one from now till the season began. And there's been plays like that where other guys trying to make the play when Wemby is clearly wide open.
And again, I know they want to get theirs, but you got to make the right basketball play. And then the effort on defense, watching Chet Holmgren blow past Keldon Johnson like he's a 6'1" guard.
It is terrible.
Because of the lack of, willingness or preparedness to defend the play by Keldon. It drove me, and even our veteran guys. I mean, McDermott with an inbounds pass that was so bad it was so easily intercepted. I mean, it's just
the defense was terrible, and it has been all year.
But the dumbness has to stop, right?
And
I think about how well this team has been playing with Trey Jones, which I do think underscores they let the Sohan experiment last far too long because Trey Jones runs that offense well. And when he's not in, like last night because of the sprained ankle, you just realize the importance that he has. As Sean mentioned, basketball IQ, Wemby has it and Trey Jones has it. I don't know who else really does.
Well, look, I mean, and Sean explained what he thought Pop was doing with Jeremy Sohan, and I get that, but I think it's sometimes you overthink it. Even when you're a coach like Greg Popovich, you've been doing it for a long time, you overthink things, and then you go back to what has worked for years. Well, and that's a point guard who runs things and gets the ball to the people that matter.
If I'm quoting this correctly from Sean Elliott just now, Hank Egan said, only God creates point guard.
Yes.
Pop is not God.
No.
And Jeremy Sohan is proof of that. Even a basketball god.
There you go.
If you will. You know what we do every Thursday about this time?
Grilling with the Blitz, presented by Tri-County Meat Market.
We judge meat.
We do.
From your grill. And we give away a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. We tell you every week, you're out grilling. You know you're putting photos of that on the social media. Take another step. Go to sasportstar.com, the Grilling with the Blitz page. Upload that photo there. If we like what we see, you could win yourself a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market.
And what we have today is it looks really good. Now, I couldn't figure it out. You were telling me you think it's fajitas. Well, I thought it might have been like a tri-tip.
And it might be. Edgar, congratulations, you win. TCMM. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
TCMM.
A sirloin with Mexicanized chimichurri.
Tri-County Meat Market.
Oh, Tri-County Meat Market. There you go. So just the sirloin there. Hey, you're brilliant.
I am, aren't I?
2 plus 2 is 4. We've been looking at that all day trying to figure out what is that. Maybe that's it. He took that sirloin, marinated it in red wine marinade, and then topped it with the chimichurri. It does look fantastic.
It does. Well cooked. I mean, nice and pink on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Edgar. You win yourself a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market.
The Blitz wants you to know what's on tap. Presented by Sam's Burger Joint.
It is time to let you know what's on tap. Brought to you by Sam's Burger Joint online, samsburgerjoint.com, where you can get your tickets, see their menu, the full schedule. They've got Moon Hooch out there tonight. Eric Tesmer on Friday, a Van Halen tribute band on Saturday.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Van Halen
Van
band?
Halen.
You going to go?
I'm a huge Van Halen fan.
I
don't know. Maybe.
All right. There you go.
Could be. Lyle Lovett's out of Green Hall tonight with his large band. Does he have a small one?
He doesn't. But I saw pictures from last night. They're loading to get that band and that piano on that stage. That's some impressive maneuvering by the folks there at Green Hall at Load In.
Now, I recognize this dude from the Comedy Central roasts. Anthony Jeselnik, bones and all. He's a comedian, and he does some of those Comedy Central roasts. I didn't find him all that funny, but anyway, you might, and he's at the Tobin Center tonight.
You know, I just got a tweet a second ago from Bat67. What's your ticket guy's phone number? Want to get last-minute tickets to see Anthony at the Tobin? Call John over at Awesome Tickets.
Really?
He'll get you taken
So,
care of.
some people do.
Exactly.
Some people do find him funny.
On Friday night, Spurs and Blazers at the Frost Bank Center. Pony Bradshaw, whatever that is, at Thor's Country Store. The Majestic Theater has the Rocket Man show. What's on tap? Brought to you by Sam's Burger Joint, online at samsburgerjoint.com. No extra innings with Pledge because we got NBA basketball next.
It's R&R in the morning.
Friday on R&R in the morning, we'll look at the Spurs. The Trailblazers are in town. Can they get off this night and win a home game finally? And we're going to look real close at that guy named Scoot Henderson. Remember the one I'd have drafted if we didn't